Okay,
We're going.
we're going. Hello, we are here. It took us a minute to get started, but now we're ready to roll.
So should I talk about the excuses? We
No,
have
I don't want to hear them.
well we
Don't repeat
wait a
them.
minute, wait a minute,
No.
wait a minute. We moved stuff up to the shop, to the new stuff. So all that work went on here. So some things got stolen out of computers and put back and forth, and it
That
did
camera
it
looks
it
janky.
looks janky, but you know what? It's working fine. I decided to leave it janky because it works fine. So what happened is, um, yeah, new turbocharged computer. The one in the shop is new, but as soon as we got it, Kim was like pulling cards and putting cards and taking them out of one computer. I'm like, oh no. So we had a little of that. She did it all right here on this table. So yeah, I didn't come up smoothly tonight. Sorry about that. So we're here and it all
We're
works.
here. It's Tuesday night. We are in the studio. We have our magic green screen.
Oh, we have a green screen and I have green on. You see my where is it? My alien. It's over here. You can see through the alien because that alien's
You
green.
can't see through it.
You can because
No,
see
you're
that's
talking crazy.
yeah.
Okay. Okay, I gotta go and I gotta see. Tavo was here with 20 minutes to go and has been here since, right? Yeah. So Tavo, I'm awarding you 2 points for being here first. Um, and who was here at 7? Mexican
Mexican
Spec was
Spec
here
was
at
here.
7.
Dave the Rave.
Dave the Rave was here at 7. You're both getting a point for commenting right at 7. Good job. Okay, who else do we have in? We have JB, says howdy. Welcome to the stream, JB. Twisted Mopar Garage is here. Says welcome everyone. Welcome Twisted Mopar Garage. And Tommy Hanlon is here from Dublin.
1:05 a.m.
Well, thank
Wow.
you for staying up late to watch the show.
Up
KJ
late.
Kiley is here. How yin's doing in Pittsburgh there, KJ Kiley? What's the temperature in Pittsburgh today? Is it winter there already? It's got to be getting close to winter in Pittsburgh. It's November. Mexican Spec was here 10 minutes early for the record. Thank you for being here, Mexican Spec. Mexican Spec is moderator at large, and he will give you timeouts if you start
Yeah, saying
getting out
dumb
of.
stuff. See, but nobody in here says dumb stuff, or usually.
Yeah,
The,
you're all pretty cool.
Dave the Rave, he goes, he's got his first point.
Congratulations, Dave. You know what? You're not far behind. I don't think there's anybody who has collected 20 points. I don't give them out all the time, so
Yeah, you have to keep track of your own
it
points.
isn't on your honor point system. I'm not going back and counting them all, and I don't got a spreadsheet for it or nothing like that. So, on Tuesday nights, we are in our in home studio. We have extra screens 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Legit, there's 5 screens here. The one has us so we can see, the other has chat, and we put the camera right in front of the chat. So when we're reading the chat, it looks like we're talking right to you.
And that's where I had problems. I'm going, Kim, these screens, some of them are black. So
I kicked the cord out of that computer and it decided to shut off.
Cord out of it. Yeah, that one, and then that one didn't have anything, but they're all working now,
And
so we're
that
good.
computer lets him put up the picture on this screen, but I have even greater powers to where I can make us big, I can make us little, I can put us in exotic locations, travel us through time.
The dino room.
This is our dino room. But and then right now I don't have the internet set up just yet, but we'll get to there pretty soon.
Why's it got to be black? Well, because when you have a screen and I'm looking at the screen, it goes piff. That's what I see.
That's
is
the color that it is.
a
We
black
didn't
screen.
design.
It's a when you open
What's
up a
wrong
laptop.
with black?
When you open up a laptop and it's not on, the screen is black.
Ray is here from 38 Racing.
We're overlapping Kiwi, so I'm back and forth. Oh, I see. Yeah, we do that. Sorry about that.
I am the master of ceremonies, or the engineer of the computer engineer the stream engineer, I suppose. So, yeah. Anyways, we weren't really prepared well. Not like we should be. I feel
Well,
like we should be a lot more professional about this.
here's what happens. We come in here and everything just works. And then I came in here tonight and everything didn't just work. And I started struggling with it. And
then the time goes fast when you have a mistake.
Usually last 10 minutes, I'm sitting here. I feel good. Everything's ready. Kim's finishing up her, whatever she does with her contacts. And tonight, I'm like, man, I got problems here, Kim.
I am Oz. Pay no attention to the foolish mortal behind the curtain.
Oh, Kim, I forgot to bring something in here. Can you got to just take care of everything for a minute?
Okay.
The picture. I asked people to send pictures in. JB must have sent me 100 pictures, maybe more.
Thank you, JB. They're excited. I think people are excited.
This is one of them. And it's an assembly line, obviously General Motors, Chevrolets.
What are they building?
It's Chevelles and Monte Carlos coming down the assembly line. That's the final inspection.
Nice.
In one of the General Motors assembly plants. So I put that up. So I'll be right back. I just gotta run. I'll just be right back. Okay.
Okay.
Won't be long.
Mike is here. Welcome to the stream. That was you got explained what the picture was. Colleen is here. Mama of Mopars, Mustangs, and minivans, and minibuses, and other things is here. Welcome to the stream. Good to have you. It's good to have everyone here. Today is my birthday too. November the 12th is the day of my birth. And so a lot on Facebook today. I got a ton of happy birthday wishes. So if you sent me one, thank you very much. And if we are not friends on Facebook, I may have overlooked your request. Sometimes I don't know who people are, but I try to actually look at requests and see if there's somebody I know. So, which plant? I don't know. That's a good question. Thank you for the birthday wishes. I'm 49 years old. That's a real age that I am. Oh, well, we might not look at them all I'm going to repeat myself, but anyways, if you are not familiar if you weren't here last week or you hadn't noticed us talk about it this week, we're going to do a new segment tonight, and we don't know how much time we're going to dedicate to it, but there'll be a portion of the stream tonight where we talk about the year 1970.
I'm coming back in.
Okay.
What I have here, how am I going to get this on camera?
Oh, look at that.
I can't tip it too far. It's a happy birthday, Kim.
Wow.
Here's your cake. Your happy birthday.
Thank you so much.
Here's your happy birthday.
Oh, that is sweet of you. He ran out earlier, and I'm like, you don't have to go get anything. I was at the grocery store yesterday, so.
You had no idea what I was running off to the store for.
I had suspicions, but you even got my name on it.
I did. See, there was some forethought.
Well, thank you.
So I don't know if you.
It's got sprinkles and everything.
I don't know if you can eat it. I can eat like one little fork full.
Well, we'll have to have some here.
So now you have a cake in the middle. Oh, you're gonna set it down over there. Okay.
Well,
that's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
No, that's good. I thought I was making room here.
I think we should.
You got a lot of equipment up here.
I think we should focus on the stream a little bit because it's early and people are just getting here.
I wanted to say happy birthday to you.
Thank you. That's
on the stream early, and just make a deal about it, because it is a big deal.
I was.
Mexican Spec wants his piece in the mail.
Okay.
Get a tracking number.
Get a tracking number. If it has to go through customs, though, it could be like 3 weeks before you get it.
It's like, what's this? Did your toes start to tingle? Yeah, that's what's wrong with me. My toes already tingle from Yeah, it looks like I have a hole in my chest.
Oh yeah, you can see the bumper.
Well, because you put me from small to big. Yeah,
Oh yeah, it's
you can
bigger
see the
now.
bumper through it. Yeah, you can see the headlight and everything. Because that is oops, I don't even know what side it's on. That is green, and the green screen
Chroma key
takes it out.
It's a special
Man, I'm
filter that
sorry.
we use.
I disrupted everything here.
Well, I was starting to explain, and I think everybody who's commented here, but you never know. There could be people who are watching and not able to or commenting yet. Plus, there could be people watching afterwards, and they won't understand that tonight's stream is a little bit unique because last week we set out. I'd be focused on
Yeah,
the
Tommy
cake.
Hanlon. I read that and I thought it was pretty funny.
There's enough cake for all of us here tonight, so I'm not too worried. If there was a bigger party, I would be worried that there wasn't enough cake to go around. You guys are distracting the snot out of me. I can't get through.
She's usually all organized, and tonight she's not so organized.
So we're gonna do a segment here during the stream where we talk about the year 1970, specifically the year, not the decade. Buddy Carfano, last week won he selected that year, and we decided that we were going to talk about it, and we invited everyone who was in the stream, or there's still time to send in some stuff. I don't know how much we're going to get through because there are a lot of pictures.
Yeah, here's one Buddy Carfano. Now I'm going to put this one up there. But the problem with this is that it's, what's wrong?
His comment is, Buff, please send my piece in the mail. It should get here by Valentine's
Day. I
Day.
saw that. I just couldn't read it all. I'm sorry. Too many, the thoughts in my head are all backed up. I'm sorry.
Ray, thank you. I'm enjoying it. I am.
Can you shrink us down for a second?
Oh, down.
There. Buddy Carfano sent this in. I had a really hard time getting it up there because it was actually a link. He sent me a link to a page, the copyrighted material and all that. I'm not going to leave this up there very long, but I had a hard time getting it to there. But he sent in that 70 Chevelle, which is an SS, which is pretty nice, but I'm going to take it back down.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're back to this. Yeah, we start off kind of crazy here tonight.
Patrick Sullivan just got here, says howdy, and a bit late, finished up the brats and tater skins. You're not late at all. We're still trying to get through the generic introduction part.
Brats are always good.
So we are going to talk about the year 1970, cars and car adjacent stuff, so like racing or automotive.
Wants to spend his points on a piece of cake.
Well, 5 points. I'll send you a piece of cake. If you want to use your five of your points to get a piece of cake in the mail, I will iron it flat and put it in a postal mail, and you can.
Dizzy Izzy's even here. Wow.
Welcome to the stream, Dizzy Izzy. Number one movie was A Love Story. Oh, okay, Mike, who was in that movie? See,
look at all the people just came in.
Adam Culbertson is here. Welcome to the stream.
We'll have to show your thing here in a minute.
Danny Boyd. Did you ever hear about the crash where the Brookville 1984 valedictorian and another person were killed in a Chevette when the LTD-2 from the Northmont creamed them while racing? Oh. Was that a real thing or from a movie? Number one war was Vietnam. Yeah.
Oh man, how well I remember.
He would remember. I do not. I was not.
Yeah, you missed that one.
Here. But who was in that movie? A Love Story. I could Google it, but I have not yet brought up my stuff. So you're gonna have to talk for a minute while I get some parts of my stuff set up because I was late. What's up?
I brought something in for you, and there's like double as many people in here now.
That fast? That many people?
You got it. Okay. Today's a kind of an interesting day because
you got me a gift as celebratory because today is my happy birthday.
It says happy birthday, Cam, and it's a cake. So, and I'm a diabetic, so she's got to eat the whole thing. But maybe I'll have one little taste. So anyway, it's my happy birthday to Kim to bring that in. So a lot of people missed that. So now they know.
Oh, Mike doesn't remember, so somebody could. No, wipe it on my pants. Wipe it on my shirt.
Wipe your frosting on your shirt. I don't know who's in the movie. I'm so interrupting everybody here.
All right, you do that thing. I got to bring up my Googles so I can keep the stream informed.
Witherspoon was the driver. I promise you, he didn't mean to do that. He was being a fool.
Oh,
Patrick Sullivan says, "Happy birthday." Who would race in LT2? Blue Grit Garage is here.
welcome to the stream, Blue Grit.
Olive says, "Happy birthday." Just one piece of cake for you.
Thank you,
Tim.
Olive.
The entire thing is one piece. Yeah, you get one piece of cake. It's the whole thing. That's kind of what I was thinking. I was going to bring a fork so you could eat the whole thing. I was going to steal like one little taste so I didn't get much sugar. Okay, I don't know what Kim's doing. She's bringing up something.
I'm setting up because you know how usually I have Google and everything.
I see you're not set up with that.
I didn't have it turned on yet because I was busy getting ready. We were not ready on time today.
No, we had a big fluster right at the end.
I'm sorry. I whack your hand with a ruler. You weren't ready, and you can whack mine because
biggest thing for car people in 1970. The auto worker strike started in March and lasted till fall. The new model Charger was supposed to be 19. I did not know that.
Oh,
and that's the kind of thing I usually know. You know, it's like this. It's like the 83 Corvette. They made like a pilot run of 83 Corvettes, and there's one left. It's in the Corvette Museum, and it looked just like the 84, but it had a few little differences, but it was just late, so they called it an 84, you know. So there was no 83 Corvette.
Ta-da. All right. We're moving along. I got my Google up. So as you can see, when we're in the studio, I can do green screen stuff.
There you go.
And that allows us to visually stimulate you, which is better than a podcast alone. And yeah. Oh, I forgot to tell you that I am Kim of Kim Fixes Things. And you can find my YouTube channel elsewhere on YouTube at Kim Fixes Things. But today we are on the Buff Del Campo channel with your host, Buff Del Campo, and we are glad that you have found us.
You have connection
like and
problems.
Subscribe.
Man, I don't see. Usually we get a warning when that happens.
We're not having any connectivity problems.
Flowing right now. I don't know what happened there. Maybe it was you. Maybe it's somewhere between us and you. Yeah, when it slows down or freezes for a second, there's a yellow thing that pops up, and I know we have stream problems going out. Man, we got right now. It's showing really strong.
It's rock solid. All right. We got to keep up with all this chat.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
There's a lot of people here early, and now they're all talking about the stuffs.
Yeah, JB, you sent all these pictures. Are you going? I don't know.
I don't know what to say. You read. If you see something good, you tell me what it is.
Yep, Danny Boyd. Sadly, my fiance was killed by a drunk driver on Route 40 in her 83 Trans Am. A drunk in a 78 Monte Carlo ran a stop sign at high speed. Oh, man.
I'm so sorry. That's awful.
I also remember a crash in 82, 83 where a kid named Dopey from West Milton in a 77 or so Firebird was racing a Northmont 78-ish Camaro. Camaro stopped for a stop sign, and Dopey didn't. And I knew a guy in California that he had a 63 Chevy 4-door. He had family, little kids. He and his wife stopped at a light or stop sign or something. The car behind him did not. They sped up and hit that thing so hard and he didn't have any money, and the guy didn't have any insurance. He took that '63 Chevy and he cut the whole tail end off of it, and then just put wood back there. It looked kind of like a four-door '63 Chevy crossed with a Gremlin. It was just hacked off in the back. He drove that thing around for years like that, but they didn't get hurt. But he had a rather interesting car. Oh, and that was probably 1970-ish when that happened. Probably be happy with a 70 340 Duster, first American compact in 1970 Ford Maverick. Yeah,
Tavo
I,
says
I like that car.
1970 was the first year for the American designed Australian refined Hemi 6.
Oh, I didn't know what year that was, but I knew it was designed up here, and when we got it, we never got it here. They got it down there. I got something in my eye. I'm sorry. Got to poke at my eye. What is going on?
Dizzy Izzy said Dad worked at Dodge and 70 was a tough year. Oh, yeah, strikes would do that.
Man,
First American compact in 1970 was the Ford Maverick.
that car came out like halfway through the '69 model year run, which is like April or something. And I remember the 70, it was the first 70 car, and it was not even halfway through '69. And I remember those things running around, and I really liked them because it looked kind of cool compared to what they'd had before. And there was a guy in the high school where I was, and his mother bought a kind of a brick red looking, odd red color looking Maverick, and that was the first one I got to see up close. I remember that car real well.
Rob's Rods and Streetcars says, howdy, everybody. Welcome to the stream, Rob. Dave the Raves asked, did they have pressure treated lumber back then? I'm guessing he was going to suggest that we fix a car with lumber.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Oh, Blue Grid got a 69.5 Maverick. Ignition is still on the dash. The column does not lock it. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, the original, and they called it a 70, but yeah, it was the one that still had the ignition down here instead up here. I had forgotten about that little detail. Mustang was late, Maverick was early. Well, the Mustang could have been late. I don't know. Um, the 70 Mustang was so much like the 69, except they got rid of those little phony scoops or big phony scoops on the back fenders, which, even though they were phony, I think they looked really good, but I know there was a lot of controversy about having these big scoops back there that didn't do anything. The green Charger looks like one Remy Wilson had, kind of famous. Oh,
The one
one
right
between
between
us. You never totally get over something like that. Yeah, I guess not. Okay, let's see here. What else do I have in the way of
No,
pictures?
no one should expect you to get over that. That's not even what happens.
Oh, yeah, and then we can find out what this is. Oh, you can't find out what that is because it's not on the screen.
Is that his truck? Is that Tim's truck?
Well, I was going to let Tim tell about it, but okay. Grandpa Vic, good evening. How you doing? JB69 Mustang had 4 headlights and 70 had 2. Yep, you're right. Um, yeah, and congratulations, Grandpa Vic. You made your 500 subs. I was there.
Yeah,
I was in the
congratulations.
I was in that live watching that. I would have helped, but I subbed you back when you had about 60 or 70 subs or something. I've been there for a while, so I couldn't sub again. Okay, so this is um, Tim. I think it's Tim's truck. Is that Tim's truck? I don't know whose truck this
He
is.
said it started snowing. It looks like it's covered in snow. I'm guessing that is.
I got to go back. So many emails came in. I can't get them all at once. Gen 2 split bumper Camaro was introduced. Man, it looked better with the split bumper, too. I had a friend that had a Z28 1970, and he didn't have the split bumper, but I liked the split bumper, and he didn't. Johnny C, I remember when my family bought our new 1970 Torino wagon with hideaway lights, the dealership It's now condos. I was so happy I bought my '05 Mustang there too. My father bought a new full-size Ford. It's actually, I always say it was a Galaxy, but it was actually a custom 500, which is a cheap Galaxy. And it was the just a big four-door car, brown Ford, 1970 Ford. And he, my father didn't really like fancy stuff, but he bought he got which is a big deal then, power disc brakes. He ordered it with power disc brakes, which I thought was pretty good, you know. He had that car. He drove it for 12 years, I think. Cough drop time. I'm sorry. You can keep the white stuff. Guess I could take or leave the fog lights in those old Mustang, but I use them so there. I have to get my car right for No Name Nationals 2025. Yeah, we're looking forward to seeing you there. Oh, what's this? This is a Maverick.
I don't know, but she's got cute legs.
She's got cute legs. Hey, who's this girl in front of the Maverick? What is it? Oh, that's not a Maverick. That's a Comet.
He said that it was it's a Mexican car.
Oh, okay.
Shelby
Oh,
Maverick.
it could be a Maverick because it's. Oh, that's one of the Shelby ones. Man.
Pretty nice.
Yeah, they had a Comet nose on them, and they were a Shelby Maverick with a 302.
We're going back to Camaros.
That's pretty cool.
BNR Racing is here. Welcome to the stream. Says hello, Kim and Buff. Glad you made it. We're talking a lot about the year 1970 tonight, if anybody has not figured that out. And we told you at the beginning of the stream that that's what we were going to do. And we actually discussed it last week. But if anybody's not following it, because a bunch of people came in. So, yeah, we're talking about the year 1970. If there's anything specific that you want to talk about, obviously you can throw that up in the chat. But also, if you'd like to send a picture of something uniquely 1970, the year, not the decade, then you can send it to buffdelcampo@gmail.com, and we will try and get to it tonight. But it seems like we already have a ton of stuff
I
to
got
go
a
through.
ton of pictures, so I'm going to go at them a little at a time here. Yeah, Mexican Spec says, no, it's a Shelby Maverick. What did I say? Oh, at first I thought it was a Comet, and then I corrected myself. It's a Maverick, but they had the front end like the Comet in the U.S., I guess.
Johnny C, welcome to the stream, says our wagon was a 302 with automatic, had a third seat, but no AC.
My dad's full-size Ford in 1970 was a 302 automatic. Of course, it was a four-door, just a four-door sedan, so, but it had AC.
Okay, I'm going back to the Shelby Maverick because it was something. Why is that? Get these big advertisements. That's the problem with.
Yeah, bringing it up online, you get all the. Tommy says, I was born in 1970. Should I send a picture of a little baby?
I wasn't born in 1970.
Ah, she missed that one.
I was not born for quite some time. Years and years.
Although today is your birthday.
Today is my birthday.
So I say happy birthday. I brought her cake, which is over here. Most of you already saw the cake.
And I'm not picking it up again.
Not picking the cake up.
Icing on my fingers.
So, yeah. So,
Rampito Vic, thank you for plugging the like button. It's easy. It's somewhere down there, usually, the like button, and helps us out.
KJ Kylie says,
Kim, don't you have a tiara to wear today?
What
you know
is
what?
that?
I have a couple of tiaras, but I would have to dig in the spare bedroom, and I would probably injure myself digging in there tonight. So I already did my digging in there for the week. I was in there trying to inspect the fireplace, because that's where the fireplace is, oddly enough, in the house. And it was a major disappointment because, you know, I'm the one with the expertise to inspect it, and I had to fail it. And now we can't use it. Even though I really wanted to use it, I cannot just safely say that we can use the fireplace. So, like, darn.
Well, you inspected it and it's bad.
No, it's not good. There's issues. I don't even think we can fix it. So we'll figure stuff out.
Sullivan had a 70 Pontiac Le Mans he bought for $60, had an engine fire, pulled out the 350, installed a 250 overhead cam inline 6. Later found 4-barrel intake. Man, those are really cool engines. I had a friend that built so many cars with those. Every one of his kids went to college with an overhead cam 6, which is kind of interesting. One of them was in a Nova. He put an overhead cam 6 in like an early Nova, like a Chevy 2 kind of Nova.
Grand Peter Vic, they might not like, you know? Like, if they don't like, then they don't have to click the button. It's okay.
Tavo sent in pictures from 1970. Oh, this is a good one. Of course.
Johnny C. says, that seemed to be a popular year to buy a new car. My grandma traded in her 1959 Buick in for a new 1970 Le Mans 2-door post coupe. It had a straight 6 auto. There you go. I think 1970 was like a big year in automotive, you know? Like I think a lot of people were just in that, and you know, it was what was it, like 73 they started coming out with all the problems with emissions and
75 really.
And so
yeah,
like
I mean it just got worse every year.
Early 70s was like as good as, in some people's minds, as good as it got, you know? So
Kim, can you bring up
stuff.
my picture?
I can't, but I can click on it so we can see it.
Okay, Tavo sent in this.
Bring it up though.
1970.
There we go. It smells like cake in here.
Huh?
It smells like cake.
It smells like cake. Could be birthday cake, huh?
It does. Yeah, and I can't eat cake while we're streaming.
Make her eat cake all over. And,
no, you know, it's just really rude to eat in front of a bunch of people when then they can't have cake.
1970 was the first year of 15-inch rims and tires on a Pontiac, optional or stock.
Interesting. Oh, I'm so sorry. They were still putting the small bolt pattern 5-on-4s on Mopars in 1970.
What, in a 6-cylinder?
Pretty much all.
Oh
of
yeah,
them.
my
Valiant,
Valiant did.
Small bolt pattern.
This was 72.
Yeah. Mexican Spec says, for the record, I've never seen one of those Shelby Mavericks for sale. I'll bet you they are rare and people do not put them on the market, on the open market. You know, you figure by the time a car gets on the open market, where like it's not getting traded in because the value is not really there towards a new car, and it's not getting passed on to a family member or friend, you know, or neighbor or something like that. It's like they just want to sell it to a random stranger. Like it's got to have depreciated like a lot. And a car like that would either just get destroyed or never get there, maybe. Like never become that way. You know?
Well, I want to talk for a minute about this car. We asked for 1970 cars for tonight, and Tavo, this is his daily driver. It's a 1970 Valiant Ute, and this is what he drives in Australia. It's pretty cool, and I really like that car a lot.
Yeah, he does. He talks about it often.
Well, you see, I got this thought that I have a 72 Valiant, and we got some old pickup beds back here, and I could do some hackery, and
I mean, but I don't even have to do it in a hackery sort of way. We looked into it, right? We did the math, and it uses the 4-door, just the 4-door sized front doors, so you don't have to get different doors. And you know, with sheet metal fabrication, I mean, that car it's the same wheelbase, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a 4-door.
It's the same wheelbase. Like you could make it into that.
See, in like the El Caminos and the Rancheros here in the U.S. had the long doors like a 2-door. Down under the Valiants, the Utes had the short doors like a 4-door. Well, I've got a 4-door car here, and I've watched these guys like DD Speed Shop making 4-doors into 2-doors, and I thought, you know, if I got, you know, I'm gonna have to walk up to my car with a die grinder or a what you call zip cut, and I'm gonna have to cut the roof. It's like take a deep breath and make the first cut, you know. But I was thinking about doing that. That's down the road though. We've got some other projects ahead. Let's see here. JB said I had a 1971 Le Mans four-door come through my junkyard, rusty car, but it had a factory optional T41 Endura front end used on the GTO. That's unusual. I remember that front end. Yeah, you could bring that up.
Okay.
T41 Endura front end, 1971. Oh, that's 71. Forget it. We're not doing 71 tonight. Let's see here. Can
Okay.
people also sell cars to buy another one?
You're
Yeah.
right. I agree, Mexican spec, but it's much more rare for a rare car to come up on the market that way. You know, they get snatched up quick. They don't. Well, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. B&R Racing says 1970 was the first year of a Pontiac car designed on a computer graphics and punch card digitized. Became the 1970 Firebird Trans Am. I did not know that in 1970 they had digitized computer graphic designed cars.
I remember in 1965.
70?
1965, I got a magazine and it was a preview of the 66 cars and it was all drawings. They weren't real pictures. And they were kind of right about everything, but they had some articles in there and they had articles about General Motors using computers to design cars. And it was a new thing and they had this screen, looked like a black and white TV, and they had this touch pen and they were showing somebody drawing something on there and they were talking about in the future cars will be designed on computers. And that was in 65, so that's about right. Is that 1970 they actually did that. So it's getting away from me. People scrolling. I can't read fast enough, Kim. I'm sorry. You also sell cars 1970. Okay, I don't know. Johnny C says I have a clip on a vanity member that came with it. It says Buick. It's B2. Okay. Patrick Sullivan says I've never heard of a Shelby Maverick. I was about to blast that photo for having the incorrect hood like a grabber. Yeah, that's one of those Mexican cars. They got some really cool stuff in Mexico where they mix and match Mercury and Ford stuff, and also Chevrolet and Pontiac stuff. You see little Chevrolet, can't think of the name of them, with Pontiac nose pieces on them and everything, and that's how they came in Mexico. And if you want to see that stuff, you look at Mexican Specs Instagram page, and he keeps all that stuff. You can go back; all those pictures are archived in there. And you see a lot of Mexican, like that's where he gets his name from. The Mexican spec cars were not always the same as the U.S. spec cars. So, yeah, you can go back and see a lot of that stuff. He says Mexican spec says I posted a '74 Maverick that has a Comet hood and grill. I thought they changed it out, but maybe it was factory. Yeah, it could have been. Man, every time you put something on there that's a little bit weird, I'm like, man, it's like, why didn't we get that? And then you go on and say, well, it had the 302 and a 4-speed on the floor and no smog. And I'm thinking, man, you guys got all the good stuff. I would catch a lot of crap if I exported a Shelby Maverick from Mexico. Mexican or territorial about things like that. Really? Man. What if somebody had the cash? Buddy Carfano, cut it up and you can weld it back together.
Yes, we can.
Unfortunately, that's the other thing about cutting stuff apart. I always go, what's the worst thing that can happen? You got to weld it back together. On this day in 1970, Tanya Harding was born. Really?
Junkyard D. That's an interesting fact. I did not know I shared a birthday
with Tanya
Harding.
Yeah.
You know,
I didn't know that.
She was out for blood.
My father was like Tanya Harding. My father was like as straight-laced as it gets, and I just shake my head. Here's a guy that's. I always laugh because a lot of women, I think, that are pretty nice women end up with guys that are real just troublemakers, And here's my dad, as straight-laced as it gets, like Tanya Harding. I just thought that was hilarious. Like the bad girl. Let's slow it down for Buff a minute.
Oh, we're
So,
doing
yeah.
okay. We're
Oh,
doing
we're
okay.
doing okay. Tanya
That's okay.
Silverhammer. 1970 was the first year for the De Tomasa Pantera. Was it? Oh, it could have been. I had a Mercury dealer next door to me, and I remember when those things came around. But I had a friend that had a what was the car? The predecessor to the Pantera was the De Tomasa Mangusta. I had a friend that had a Mangusta, and I worked on that a little bit. But then when I had my radiator shop, I had a couple of customers with Panteras, and I did the just did the cooling system service on them every year. Wow, yeah. See if there's one. See that red one there? That's got all the wings and flares and all that. The original one, 1970. I don't know if you find a 19. To me, I always liked them when they were a little plainer first. They weren't so. Yeah, they didn't have all the. Well, that one has a. I don't know. People put that stuff on there, I guess.
Yeah, because that
But
makes them more fancier.
I guess
They got more
it's like the
stuffs.
original. What was that thing called? The Lamborghini Countach. The original one I thought looked really good, and then they started putting wings and bulges and flares, and I thought it looked like some kid's car. Let's see here. I flew into Portland Airport one time, and it was loaded with reporters. Tanya Harding was flying out to the Olympics after the con. Oh, geez, it's crazy. The
Kim, that was a fact, not an interesting fact. I don't know. It's
what
just
was that? Okay.
just the Tanya Harding thing. You know,
Blue Grit. I believe that Shelby Mavericks had different uh, light
taillights
taillight
also.
also. Okay. Dizzy Izzy says the 1970 Hemi Dart. Oh, that must have been. Can you imagine that going to the buying a car like that, brand
They
new?
put a Hemi in a Dart in 1970.
I didn't know what year they did it, but yeah, I think it was probably a
Hmm.
like a race car only kind of thing. But
Oh,
I
I
don't
see.
know.
Special order kind of thing,
Yeah,
maybe.
I don't know. Dizzy Izzy said 70 Mach 1 had a 428. Yeah, I remember that real well. 69 Mach 1, you get a 428. I know that because a friend of mine bought one and it was green and I rode in it. And it was like, man,
I
that thing was
looked up.
faster than I thought, and it was a 4 speed, you know.
Um, I looked up what was the fastest car in 1970. Do you know what it would have been?
I don't know, Lamborghini Miura.
It
I don't know.
was. That's what
Was
they.
it really?
It was a.
I guess
It was
that
a Lamborghini.
the Miura was a really good looking car. Oh, it says I love the Mangusta. Do they need cooling help? You know that Mangusta he had. The only thing that was a little weird about it, I got in. It's a really expensive car, and I got in that thing, and there's a cable running from the top of the gas pedal back to the engine, just like exposed, or part of it was exposed. I guess it went under the carpet or something. And I thought, man, that's kind of cheesy. $20,000 car, which then 20 grand was
Yeah,
crazy expensive.
a really expensive new car was
But
$35,000. A really expensive,
but
like the fanciest of the
he
fancy new cars.
he bought that thing used, probably about 1970 or 71, and I mean it was 302 lightweight car, but it was reading about the Mangusta and the Panteras. I think the Pantera was a lot better car. I think the Mangusta was a better looking car, especially like the back of the Mangusta. The tail end opened up like this. The what would be the trunk, the access, the engine opened up like wings in the back. It was pretty cool looking.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Uh, Always thought Tanya was cute. At the Olympics, at the Olympics, I get my distance. 38 racing and 38 racing. Oh, wait a minute. I missed something. Oh, it says clean parents are cooler than all the aero. Yep. Dizzy Izzy street use Hemi Dart. Look one up. I think she's doing that, but I'm not sure. I believe the wing made the Pantera about 10 miles an hour slower. Yeah, they might hold it on the ground, but they're not going to make it go any faster. There's every wing that's doing anything creates drag. Nancy Kerrigan got hit. Yeah, Oh, okay, yeah. I didn't know. I didn't know that.
Oh, did not understand the significance. It was something. It was Olympics
Oh,
stuff.
some guy that ex-boyfriend or something came up with this club, and I mean, she's an Olympic skater and comes up just it was on TV, just beat her legs all up, and I mean, really injured her just before the Olympics, where Tanya was supposed to compete as well, and
Yeah, the whole thing was a
what a
conspiracy.
mess. And it,
Can't
yeah,
beat 'em.
okay,
Beat 'em.
there we go. But that, of course, this isn't 1970, but I just explaining what the Mangusta looked like compared to the Pantera. The Mangusta
Well,
had
you were
those,
talking about those.
yeah, those back. That's how you access the engine.
It's
And the
pretty well.
Pantera opens more traditionally. Let's see here. 1970 Fairlane Cobra Jet. Man, all that stuff. And back then I didn't have any appreciation for it because it was all new cars. You could just go buy this stuff. And at the time we didn't understand there was like a limited time that stuff was going to be available. And then the smog era hit. 4 years later I went out and I bought a new AMC Matador with an inline six in it because I was trying to go a little bit further on a gallon of gas. Um, Exit to spec. I was living in Oregon at the time, and Harding was from there. It was huge news, yeah. The gooses were beautiful, exotics, but less livable. There were bugs. Yeah, it was just it was a cool car. 38 Racing I just bought and sold at 70 Torino these last weeks. Next there is a floating
Ooh,
there is the floating head you were worried about, Buff. What? Floating head.
the this,
Oh, this thing. Oh yeah. Yeah, you can see through it. Wherever it is. Yeah, first Monte Carlo is 1970. 70 SS 396 Camaro. Yep. Wasn't there also a 427? Wasn't there a 427 SS Camaro? I don't know. I know there was a 427 in the. Oh, not in 70. 69. I know you get the 427 in the Corvettes. I don't know if it ever made it in the Camaro. Monte Carlo 1970, and that's the body style Monte Carlo I really like. I had a 72, same body. I really like that body style. Mangustas are exotics I would just love and suffer some about it. Pantera's more worked out. Pantera was a much better car, a much better structure underneath. The Panteras or the Mangustas were a little bit not the body wasn't as stiff, and there were some issues with it. Yep. 70-year Firebirds and Trans Am with manual 4-speed. The console, famous in Smokey and the Bandit 1977, was not standard equipment. Console was an option. Few built no console and gives a true race car. But if a Gremlin would have gone further in a gallon of gas, the huge Matador. You know what happened with the Matador? Yeah, I wanted to go further on a gallon of gas. Wait a minute. Yeah, 1974, the Gremlin was around. That Matador came out, and I just fell in love with that body style. I had to have one because I was a stupid kid. So, and then I bought the six, trying to squeeze a couple more miles out of a gallon of gasoline. But the 74 Matador is body style. That's why I bought it, and that's not a smart reason to buy a car. Here is this wasn't a bad looking car, and you see the bottom of this one. That happens. The Melee's era began in 1970 at GM. You think so? When the screen is black, you're floating head.
that makes sense because your
Oh,
shirt is
oh, because
black,
I get
so
it
you
now. Okay,
disappear.
okay. Uh, 70 Buick GSX. Copo was the only way to get a 427 in a Camaro. Oh, okay.
What's Copo?
Copo it's a special order. Don't you have to go there and help build it yourself or something? I'm trying to remember what Copo actually was, but it was where you could order stuff, but is an odd deal, and there weren't a lot of them. Uh, here maybe can explain that. I think you had to, or maybe you could go and help assemble it or something. 396 was the biggest engine. Okay, you get a Trans Am with a column shift auto. Man, I had a '67 Camaro, SSRS with a column shift, um, power glide,
Possum problem. Okay, sorry.
but it
Go ahead.
had a 12-volt posi rear end. What a weird car, you know. Bench seat, column shift in a Camaro. Uh, Motion Works made the 427 Camaros Vets in Vegas. Vegas. Get a 427 Vega? JB, a possum problem. 427 was put in the Yanko Camaro. JB, it's ultra rare. I've been to Motion many times. Kim, can you help me keep up with this? Good old EPA did Motion in.
Oh
There's no
yeah,
more
they
Copo.
wouldn't let
They're
you do that.
gone. Yeah. 1970 was the last year of the GM factory gas cap. 1970 Trans Am, it says leaded fuel only. What? It says leaded fuel only? I never seen that before.
Nice.
Yeah, Copo Central Office Production Order.
Oh, I see.
When I was says when I was little, I got a ride in a Gremlin X with a stick and a performance motor. Became a dream car of my very small person years. I had a friend with a 70, I don't know, one or two Gremlin with 429 Ford and a C6 in it. A tunnel ram. Man, that thing was crazy fast. It was a fun car. 1970 first year Dodge Challenger. Yeah, and that's if you saw my thumbnail tonight. That's what I last week when you said 1970. That's the first thing that popped in my mind was a bright green Challenger, and I put one on the thumbnail tonight.
You know, until like maybe the last like 2 years, I never realized that a Challenger and a Charger was a different name.
Oh, really?
Like I never thought about it. When somebody said Challenger, I just thought they meant Charger. I didn't realize
Completely
that they were
different.
different cars.
One was a B body and the other was a E body. See, in the E body, see they were with the Challenger. They were trying to compete with
Isn't a
the
Challenger, isn't an e-body also a CUDA?
yes,
Okay.
they were the Cuda was a little bit shorter, and I don't remember what the difference was, but they're a little bit shorter, but it's the same thing. See, they were trying to compete with the Mustang, Camaro, Firebird, that whole bunch, and all they had the Barracuda, which was kind of like a fastback Valiant, you know,
Yeah.
but they wanted their own pony car, so they from the firewall forward, it's kind of like a B body, but from the firewall back, it's a smaller car, so it's kind of an oddball, and they made them for I don't know when did they make those Challengers? 1970 to what 74 or 5? I forget how long it was. I'm losing track of the.
Oh, that's okay. We might have to circle back around and talk about things. Come back.
Uh,
Sorry if we miss a comment, everybody. There's a lot going on tonight, which is great. And where I'm having
what's
fun.
this?
This is cool. It
But
seems like people are really engaged.
but he had
They
a
like looking at these
69
pictures.
Corvette convertible motion 427 blown 4-speed 2-speed differential. Wow. All the people that like common cars. Daryl, what is this? Patrick Sullivan. What did he say? Patrick Sullivan. What's he saying there? Fourth up from the bottom.
He says, never mind, only paying half attention at
Oh,
the moment. So I'm
oh,
not sure.
never mind. Okay, now I understand what that means. Um, Grand Pito Vic, I had a 71 hardtop Malibu and a 72 Malibu convertible, Hugger Orange, great cars. And that was the same body, at least, as the 70. Does he a 2-speed differential in a Corvette? See, I didn't know anything about that. Black with the white stinger. Campo was a half hour south of Pittsburgh.
Oh, I didn't know that. And I don't know nothing about it. It probably went away when I was a kid.
Oh, Mexican
So long
Spexes.
gone.
Challenger, common, Cuda, common, Mustang, common, Camaro, common. Says all the people that like common cars, terrible. What's wrong with those cars? I liked the early Challenger, like a 1970. I think it looked great, and I think it was, the new Challengers that came out in '09 that are the more Mercedes underpinnings. Those things are heavy, man. Those are heavy cars. I mean, they're nice cars, but I like this better.
Yeah,
A lot of comments are great. That means a lot of engagement. It sure does. What happens though? We've got this big screen here. You don't have a camera you can show this, do you?
no, I don't have the little side
You don't
camera
have a
in
little
here
side camera.
anymore.
We got to get our side camera back. You could see what's going on.
Yeah, I
I
think
mean,
I
it's kind
took it
of
out to the garage to
our
do
our
so.
our thing here is kind of interesting.
Got a lot going on.
We've got a lot going on. I've got a huge screen up here, 55-inch TV tipped on its side with all the comments on it, and even that they disappear before I can read them all. It goes around until the early 80s. Building still stands though. Do you all prefer pre or post 1970 Barracudas? You know what? My favorite Mopar is the 67 through 69 Barracuda, the fastback one, not the coupe. I don't like the coupe at all, and I don't really like convertibles that much. But I like that. At the time, I didn't know it. At the time, I really liked the 1970 Challenger and Barracudas. But I mean, those things, to me, that's just. But I'd love to have one, but the price went. Like everything that's good that people want, price went way up.
Oh, you can find them, but you condition wise, you're gonna have to endure some condition problems.
And then, it says 1970 was the first year for the 351 Cleveland. In 1970, I didn't understand the difference between a Cleveland and a Windsor, and I was reading about it, and then at some point I saw one, and it was like, oh, and I understood the difference. And yeah, what a difference. Mexican Spec says it is her birthday, Buff. You have to read the comments tonight. Now, she's better at it than me.
Sometimes he doesn't read the names, or he just
and then she goes, you're mumbling.
I'm
I'm leaning
and then he'll
towards.
answer. It's like, which is fine because the people who are in the comments reading the comments. But if someone can't see the comments because of how they're watching, or if someone's watching later and they don't have the comments there, they don't know what's going on there. Leave. Which I think most people don't watch after. I think most people who are interested are here during the stream. But, there are some people who are interested enough. I like that we did some content where we weren't streaming. Did anybody see that video that we made?
We made a behind the scenes video.
I thought that
up
was
there.
good.
Yeah,
we should do
I
that once a
liked it.
week instead of in lieu of streaming, because I think that there's a lot of people who can't watch the stream and they'd like to see something that makes sense.
BNR says someone on YouTube I see made 754 horsepower with a cast iron Ford Cleveland. I believe it.
Wow.
Mexican Spec says, did you say 63 to 69? No, I said 67 to 69. If I said 63, I misspoke. 67 to 69, that body style, which is up on the screen right now. I really like that fastback Barracuda from them.
Oh,
My first muscle car was
is
a
that
69.
the one with the big crazy window?
No, the big crazy window was the one that looked like I always said it was like a fastback Valiant. It had that wraparound back window.
Okay.
What
What year did they start that?
Like 65 or 6. When was the first Barracuda? 66? 65? I don't remember. Something like that. Oh, maybe 64 even. Look up 64 Barracuda. My dad was a teacher at a college, and there was an old guy there that was, and I mean he was older guy, and he was retiring, and he went out and bought a 64. There it is, 64 Barracuda, with a probably a 273 and a 4-speed. I remember it had a 4-speed in it. My father couldn't believe this old guy bought this like a kid's car because no old people bought these cars then. Young people bought these cars.
Really?
And he uh, he went out and toured the whole country. And Fart Set Jet is here in this corner killer. See, notchback barracudas are finally getting their due. I don't really like the notchback barracudas.
Jack, I
want.
did not get any spankies, and I don't expect to get any coming from
Oh,
him.
wait a minute. We didn't spank you.
I don't expect to get any from you. That seems out of character.
1970 Charger SE had the hideaway headlights, Halo front bumper, many hate, but I like the Halo bumpers. 72, what was that thing? I know it's supposed to be 70 tonight, but the 72 Polara had a really low grill that had a Halo bumper, and the headlights were like almost on the ground, man. You can't do that anymore because they got height restrictions on the headlights, but I always thought that looked good. I enjoy it. Oh,
Adam
38,
Culbertson, welcome to the stream. I don't think I said hello to him.
38 says I enjoyed this behind the scene video. Yeah, okay. Junkyard D says 1964. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
Yeah, I see that Hemmings says 64 to 66 is a generation for it.
I saw the video. Grumpy Buff is entertaining.
He gets grumpier than that even. I cut out the really grumpy stuff. Hey, we all have our moments or days when we're grumpy or just not in the mood or not up to speed with what's going on yet.
I watched that video, and yeah, I was in it, so I remember it. But if I watched it like I was seeing it for the first time and it was somebody else, yeah, it was kind of funny. It was pretty good. It was entertaining watching Buff on the edge of a panic attack. Well, so many times Kim goes, "Let's do this," and I'll go, No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that.
I'm like, let's just try.
And then we end up doing it. It comes out okay, But I'm not always enthusiastic.
He gets in his head the way he wants it to be, and I'm like, let's just try it this way. Like, for goodness sakes, work with me here.
Okay, Dizzy Izzy says that's what I tried to make my Valiant look like, above Buff. Oh, with the 2 scoops? Local O'Reilly parking lot. Let's see, Three Dog Night. I remember them. Okay, never been to Spain. See,
there's a red 64 CUDA for sale at the local O'Reilly. Where are you at, Mike N? Where's Mike N at? How bad is it, Mike? Or how good is it? Because sometimes they want $16,000 for a car. It's like, I don't have that kind of money, even if it was worth.
DNR Racing says 1970 Oldsmobile W30 Cutlass was arguably the most handsome Oldsmobile ever built. You could type in 1970 Oldsmobile W30.
Okay.
That was the one that had the gold on the hood, I think. My wife also says try this food. I'm always like, no thanks. See, I'll try any kind of food because I like the way I want to taste it, but if it's got a lot of carbs in it, I can't eat very much. But I used to try everything. Then I got really fat and I'm not supposed to use that word. I got really round and heavy.
He put on more weight than he should have been.
Yeah, and then I had to get rid of it all.
Welcome to stream, Tim. We had your truck up for a moment earlier, covered in snow.
Oh yeah, do I still have that up here somewhere? Let's see if
I
can pull it down.
You find it, I'll turn it.
There it is. You got it.
Okay, I'll move it over.
Okay, we can bring up the Cutlass in a minute. But now that, yeah, there we go. Oh yeah, Mike N's in Louisiana. Who else from Louisiana? Oh, it's
It was restored and overpriced. Well, overpriced is relative, like, I don't know.
Yeah, 1970.
And everything's negotiable.
1977 SS Chevelles of the 396 454, the cowl induction. Wasn't the SS 396, wasn't that actually like bigger than 396? Like it was 400 or 402 cubes, something like that. It was some kind of weird engine. I don't know when they did that. Oldsmobile with the red inner fenders. Oh, I don't remember that. Yeah, 1970 is a memorable year. 1970 Motor Trend Car of the Year was a Ford Torino. Oh, really? Man, I don't remember that. Usually I remember stuff like that. Mexican Spec says I was too young to remember much. I remember a lot because it was a real significant year for me because that's the year I got my driver's license. So then I was, you know what that year's like. See, you didn't want to crawl under it to finish installing the fuel lines. Okay, B&R. Yeah, that's what I thought. It was a 402 because I remember it was something weird like that. It was more cubic inches than what it said on the car, but the name SS396 had been around so long and meant something that they kept the badging on it because SS402 wouldn't have sounded good at all, but SS396 sounded really good. Yep, JV says the same thing. 402 was the 400 engine in the pickups also a 402. It could have been. See, I remember there were two 400s. There was the 400 that was the 402 big block, and then there was the 400 that was the small block 400. I had one of those, but I never put it in anything.
Dylan Levi is here, says happy birthday, Kim. Thank you. Welcome to the stream. We're all doing pretty well, I think. Generally, we're doing well.
See, and Dylan over here, she's not going to pick it up again.
What?
At the beginning of the stream, I brought her a birthday cake.
I'll
that
bring it again.
She was just not.
I was just not going to do it every 5 minutes.
No, she didn't have any clue, and I ran off and I was trying to get it without her knowing about it.
Oh, maybe I got an idea. Well, check this out.
What are you going to do? Careful. What do you do? Oh, you're putting us big. So there. Yeah, see, that's a birthday cake. It's a real one. It's not plastic.
Sure. What kind of cake is it?
I don't know. It's a cake.
It's yellow cake.
It's yellow cake. Yeah, I knew it was yellow cake. I didn't know what yellow it was. See,
there's yellow cake, there's white cake, there's chocolate cake.
Oh, and you know, and now you know I bought chocolate ice cream and put it in the refrigerator or in the freezer. Oh,
you did say you brought.
So I knew you'd take a big gob of chocolate ice cream and put it on the cake. So that's why I brought that. You just didn't know it when I was just putting ice cream in there, and you didn't know what it was for.
No, Mexican Spec is not gonna smash me with a cake. It's my birthday.
No, we're not gonna do that. Don't drop it. Looks up.
It was sweet of him to get me a cake. He did not have. He made a special trip out to get me a cake. He didn't tell me he was going to do it because I would have told him not to if he'd have told me he was going to.
We never sneak around. We always tell each other what we're doing. Yeah. She goes somewhere, I go somewhere. We both go together. And she was doing something on the computer, and I said, "I got to run to the store." And she's like, "Where'd you go?" "I went yesterday. I bought lots of food." And I said, "Oh, there's something I want."
Yeah.
And then I said to her, I was just kind of shitty. I said, "Just pay attention to what you're doing. I'll be right back." I left.
Well, right then.
Because I didn't know what to tell you.
I had some suspicion, but I figured, well.
Oh, you did?
I will let. I mean, okay.
And then I came back. And then I came back with tomatoes for me.
You were gone a pretty long time. And
because I had to wait. They didn't have it done.
I thought about calling. Oh, I see.
And you know what else? My phone was sitting here on the charger, so I forgot to take my phone.
Oh, well, then I'm glad I didn't call because it wouldn't have mattered anyways.
Would have been ringing in the other room. There's yellow cake uranium. Yeah, I don't think that's what this is.
B&R Racing.
I'll buy the next one. Oh, okay.
Well, thank you, Jack. B&R Racing says, Mopar fact, I recall, and I believe it to be true, 1970 was the last year for the 30 or 31 spline axle shafts in the Dana 60 differential. In 1971, they upgraded to the 35 spline axle shafts.
And that may be true.
I wonder what the difference is. Are the 35 spline axles stronger?
Look at this. It was on Ukraine, Turkey.
Welcome back, Azan.
Yes, if my favorite classic cars were bought and sold here, I would buy them.
I can't afford any of these cars. They're all too cool for me.
You know what Kim always says to me? She says, everything we have is junk.
It is.
She always says, and the other thing she always says is, It's a salvage operation because that's what we do. We salvage stuff.
Ooh, I, anything we don't have fixed by the time our, you know, unfortunate demise arrives, everything that hasn't been fixed is going in a dumpster. Nobody's going to come in and look at one of our projects and be like, "Oh, that's a great idea. I'm going to finish that." They're just going to be like, they're going to call some towing company. They're going to come. They're just going to crush them all for scrap. All of our junk is just going to be gone. You know, like it's a salvage operation. We have our tools. We can use our tools and we can make something of it if we choose, if we have the time and energy to, but otherwise, just junk. It just, I don't know. My dart's coming along. There
Your
were some
dart's
people
getting
here who
close.
you saw. We got the pistons back in the engine because I had to take them out to clean the
Oh
top
man,
rings because they were gummed
the
up.
the comments. Okay, if you were on that live, you knew we put the pistons in backwards. We
Yeah.
did a. Oh wow,
Thank you, Tim. That's very generous of you.
there you go.
Thank you.
Super chat. Well, if you were on that live in the shop last time, you knew we put the pistons in backwards. And Uncle Tony always likes the pistons in backwards. We didn't really plan on doing that, but somebody had already assembled it that way. And we're using the same pistons. And the rods, the wrist pins are pressed into the rods. So to change it, I have a tool to do that, but it's a big hassle. So we thought,
It's already set up that
it's
way.
already
We'll
set
just
up.
run it.
We'll just do it that way. Well, then the comments, you put the pistons in backwards. Yeah, I know. I
Did
pinned.
somebody say that?
Oh yeah, and I pinned it. I pinned it to the top with the explanation of what we did. So there was that, and then somebody on my short with the ring compressor. The ring compressor holds the rings on, and I put the ring compressor on, and then we put the piston in, just like put the skirts in, and then put the ring compressor on, and tap the piston in. And the guy that commented says that I didn't use the tool properly. You're supposed to put the ring compressor on the piston first, and then insert it in the bore. I'm like, what difference does it make? So, I don't know. Okay, let's see. I I was talking, so
Um.
you need to. Can you? I can't scroll up from here.
Okay.
Uh,
KJ Kylie asked what hospital I was born in. My mother told me I was born in the old Pittsburgh hospital, so it's no longer
a
exists.
lot of comments about the spline seams, bigger axle diameter, more contact surfaces, all this. Uh, uh, Dylan says on a drive shaft and a few bolts from the ramp truck moving under its own power.
That's great news.
That's great news, and it's a good thing it's an old
I
truck,
saw that you were working on it.
with a drive shaft. Because if it's a new truck, I'm sure they'd put a generator on the engine and then put a motor on the rear end instead of
Just
having a
run
drive shaft.
wires.
Yeah, and had wires going back or a computer in
But think how
between.
much energy that would save.
I'll take the drive shaft. Okay, and then Mike N says there's nothing wrong with junk as long as it runs. Okay, you can scroll.
Okay.
I think I got most of the ones I'm after.
I think
Oh, that was a
Mexican Spec
lot. That was
doesn't
like
like us calling our cars
calling your
junk.
junks does not endear them to you. Well, you know what? With the amount of work we put in them, that's you know. People tell me sometimes, "Oh, you're lucky you know how to work on cars." Why I know how to work on cars? Because all I had was junk, and I had to. I don't know, it was junk. All I had was older cars that needed work, and so I had to learn how to work on them.
All the
And
cars that I could afford when I was young were cars that nobody else wanted anymore because they were too rusty. They were not worth fixing. They really should have gone to scrap, but I learned. And the other thing was, it's like, well, if something bad happens to it, I'll just get another one. Like, I didn't want to mess it up because it was mine, but like, that's not even true. There
what
was a
is
Chevette
going
that I
on?
was out there doing. Okay, I'm going to tell you this. I've never told anybody this story because in hindsight, I'm so embarrassed that I was so stupid, right? But I was out with my friends, hot rodding around like idiots, and I had this old beat up Chevette, right? And I was holding my foot on the gas, we were downshifting like from third to second, like hold my foot on the never mind.
You're not gonna know the
No,
story.
it's a stupid story.
You're beating a car up.
Beaten on that car. My only car. Why would I do that? How dumb was I? Don't beat on your car if it's your only
There's
car.
a kid where I grew up, and he had a man. At the time, it was a newer car. It was like a '68 or '9, whatever it was. Big Torino fastback, which was a you know what they look like. I don't know what engine he had, a 390 or something. I think it had a 390 and an automatic. But he'd go like crazy, and then he'd throw it in reverse, and the tires would spin backwards and just smoke both tires. He'd be doing about 50 miles an hour, smoking the tires in reverse. And he used to think that was so funny. He'd have a car full of kids. I'd look at that and just shake my head, because how long before that's going to break? It's a three-piece drive shaft. It's long. Oh, yeah, I bet. Somewhere back up here, I
It ought to
missed it.
hold up good
I
though with
missed
all
it.
the extra retainer bearings in it.
I
What's
missed
up?
it. Go back just a little bit more. Ukraine turkey. I like Magnum ice cream, cold blackberry flavored. Okay, come back to. I wanted to catch that one before it was gone.
Oh, blackberry? I don't think I've ever seen blackberry flavored ice cream.
Okay,
Black
okay,
cherry, and I've seen. Yeah, okay.
okay. Scroll. Okay, Tyler says I like my junk cars, but they're still junk. Oh, you got one of my favorite cars. That blue Ute.
38 Racing said backwards pistons was a trick for Pontiac engines too. You know, something that we found while we were working on that engine that we didn't expect to. What were they? 40 over pistons in that engine?
Yeah.
But they were not the factory pistons. That engine was remanufactured, but there was a pin offset in the 40 over pistons.
The only thing I can think
We
of.
thought they were always centered.
The only thing I can think of is that those pistons are
Chrysler pistons.
came from Chrysler because the aftermarket pistons I think are all the wrist pins centered, and these are definitely offset. I mean, you can see it. It's that noticeable. Jack, always beat on your cars. My buddy had big old junkers, Dodge Monaco. We'd do burnouts till the asphalt was on fire. Well, that's called an AJ turn. I broke my high school car off, and it seemed like every Sunday I was fixing what I did Saturday night. My brother's 63 Plymouth. I drove that thing around a lot. It was a 63 Fury. There's a place you come off the freeway where I lived, where the off ramp would come down and it'd go underneath the freeway and back up again. So it was like an underpass. And so I had a car full of kids, we're like 16 or 17 or something. And I went under there just going like crazy, way too fast. And as I get under there, I turn it off, leave it in gear, turn it off. And you hear the engine go, and the car's slowing down. Then you get underneath that underpass and turn it back on. And boom, all the gas in the exhaust would explode. I thought that was so funny. I did it a couple of times. So one time, the last time I did it, came under there, turned it off, turned it back on. Kaboom! Only then it wasn't anymore. It was the muffler was split wide open. Like, whoops. Now I got to tell my brother what happened, I ended up buying him a muffler. My brother was not a hot rodder. He was like, had a car, so he'd go to work, come home, or go to school, come home. Not interested in that kind of foolishness. Tim said I couldn't afford a lot of new parts when I was a teenager back in the 60s, so I lived at all the local junkyards, learned how to take out the parts. Yeah, you know what? That's how it used to be. You go to the junkyard and you take the parts off, then you go out with a box, and the guy looks in the box and goes, $2. Okay. That's how it used to be. And if we had carburetors, they were $2 a piece. If we had a box full of just a bunch of junk we got, it was always like $2, $3.
I lived too close to the city. There was no good junkyards. The EPA came in and kind of did away with a lot of that stuff.
Hosan, Ukraine, Turkey. Are you interested in German cars? I've never had a German car.
I've had a couple of
You've had
Volkswagens.
you've had
I
Volkswagens.
used to really love a Volkswagen Rabbit back in the early 80s. Those were good cars. I had a diesel one and I had a gasoline one, and they were good cars. And then I really used to love the Volkswagen Beetles, but they were all too rusty because I lived up in the salt areas, so they were too rusty. By the time I was driving, they were all gone.
While we're talking about German cars, and I know we're scrolling and we're not scrolling here. Can you bring up after you bring the scroll back to and I'm sorry, I'm not keeping up with the chat at all.
We're trying.
We're
Well, we
trying.
weren't that far off.
Okay, can you look up
Junk Car Willie's here. Welcome to the stream.
Hey, Junk Car Willie.
What do you want to bring up?
Myers Manx dune buggy, which is a kit you could get here in the U.S. that was, and I don't know if you could get it in Ukraine or Turkey, probably not, but maybe. And it's yeah, there's one. Just that gold one's pretty good, or yellow or whatever it is, right above my head. That was a kit you could get, and you put it on the Volkswagen pan. You shorten the Volkswagen pan and put it on there. And I always wanted one of those. I'd driven them around. I had friends that had them. Man, I like those cars. And but I was at, they're a fair weather car. They're not to be in the snow and the cold. But in Southern
It
California,
surprises me how many dune buggies I see on Facebook Marketplace here in Tennessee.
oh, you ought to go
I
to
wouldn't
You ought to
expect
go
them
to
to be here. In Arizona, yeah, that makes sense. But I'm surprised when I see so many like rail buggies here in Tennessee. Like, what do you do with a rail buggy here in Tennessee? But people got them.
Mike Kent says, you can do that with glass packs all day. They're hard to blow up. You know what's really good about glass packs? I put glass packs on, you go out and run it pretty hard, and pretty soon, it doesn't take long before all the glass is gone. And then, it looks like there's a muffler, but basically there isn't. Junk Car Willie's, wow, he's all the way up there already. There's a lot going on here. Rabbits are awesome, especially GTIs. Junk Car Willie, Kim's birthday today. She's got a cake over here, but everybody that just came in, because I'm watching the count go up. Kim.
He's very proud that he was able.
Well, yeah, I want everybody to say happy birthday to Kim. That's all. Oh, and Kim's slowly eating her cake by getting her fingers in it.
I keep sticking my finger in it. Wait. I want the biggest picture of us. There he goes. If I'm gonna pick it up, you gotta see it. He got me.
Oh, it smells good.
It does. It smells like icing.
It smells like cake. They had replica Manxes also. Oh yeah, there was like everybody copied them. Pulled molds off of them, made ones that were close. Did you take a bite? Like a giant cookie?
Maybe.
1980 bought a 69. As dizzy as he 1980 bought a 69 390 Galaxy 500 just wrecked for $60. Got a junkyard front clip for 75. Sold a week later for 275. That in 1980, that was good stuff to do that. Today that doesn't sound like a lot of money, but I remember when anytime I could make $100, I'd be jumping on it. Let's see here. A lot. Yeah, and Mexican Spec says they were not replicas, they were copies. Yeah, they were. That was not appreciated at all by Myers. In fact, I think that company's going again. Myers Manx, haven't they reintroduced the kit? Whoever owns the intellectual property rights, I think they brought that kit back up again. I think I just saw some. I was on Ukraine, Turkey. I watch DMAX TV sometimes. There are car buying and selling programs, and Americans are very passionate about classic cars.
Oh yeah.
The other place they're really passionate about, especially American classic cars, is in Norway and Sweden. I had a friend here that was selling a lot of parts to. Well, at least he was Norwegian, so he was selling a lot of parts, sent them to Norway and I think Sweden too. Ronnie Schatzstein says, happy birthday. Junk Car Willie, happy 22nd birthday, Kim. She's not 22. She's more.
Yeah,
She's like closer to
yeah.
30. She's closer to 30. Uh,
There's no way I could live up to that standard. I'm older than that.
Kim would whip his ass. Yeah.
I could not. He would never smash me in the face with cake.
Yeah, the cake smash. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
He's so nice to me all the time. He
Oh, they're
would never be
making
mean to me.
Myers Manx again with electric. Oh, I didn't know that.
What kind of electric vehicle?
Boo.
Not boo.
I don't know. I guess if you're gonna run around out in the dunes, you probably can drive for a while electric. I don't know. Just carry some fire extinguishers and know how to run. $100 a lot till you buy groceries or car parts. Yeah, well now, yeah,
$100 is not a lot. It's a lot to earn, but it's like nothing to spend. Man.
I remember when I was a kid. This is '60s, going to the grocery store with my mother, and she had a cart stuffed food, and she spent $44. I remember it was $44.44, and I thought it was kind of funny because it was all fours. And I told her that, and she goes, "Shh." She goes, "That's so much money." And looking back, that was a lot of money. And she had 3 kids and my father. That was probably a month's worth of groceries. And that was $44. But now, I go to the store and buy like a couple of things, in the basket you carry around, and it's $100. You know. I heard something recently about Manx. Yeah, so did I, but I didn't realize
Here
it's
we go. Wait,
electric.
wait.
Oh, you're bringing up. Oh, it is Launch Edition 2.0 EV. Oh, no. Whack.
What? What's wrong?
Do you know how much fun that car was? With a 4-cylinder Volkswagen air-cooled engine in the back, the original 4-speed transmission. They were real light on the front end. They just drove so nice with the Volkswagen running gear.
How is it green?
Mexican Spec says she's a 70s kid. Uh, oh, Mexican Spec put up a link, but you're already there. Again, I'm 2 years younger than her, and I relate more to '80s, more of an '80s
Yeah,
kid.
I was an '80s kid.
It's like me. I always say I'm a '50s and '60s kid because I was born in '54, but I became so aware of cars I remember real well '59 because that's when I started school, and I walked to the school, and it was a pretty good little walk through a neighborhood. And like I knew every car in that neighborhood. I knew what kind it was. I memorized what years they were. Then I got my library card in probably '60, and I used to get Motors Auto Repair manuals, and they had the pictures of the front of the cars to identify what year they were, and I memorized all of them. And so really I was a late '50s, '60s kid, but I got to include the late '50s in it because I was so aware of cars then. But I was more of a '60s kid, I guess. It's the hours worked groceries ratio. I don't know. I guess that's just wrong in electric banks. How well will the electric do in the sand?
Yeah.
Where do you plug it in? In the sand? I don't know. I don't know. You get maybe. I guess there are people like that.
I could see where as a kit car manufacturer, not having to worry about any kind of emissions standards sounds good.
I think that's why a lot of companies went with this because they
No, they went with it because they were forced.
They were forced to, but they kind of went with it. There's an upside to the manufacturer, is that now they're not responsible for the emissions. The company that produces the electricity is responsible for the emissions. So I think there was both, but it didn't help their sales any. Let's see. Hassan, Ukraine, Turkey, DMAX TV has great programs. That's why I watch it every morning. Americans are doing solid work. See, I don't know what DMAX TV is.
I don't know. It sounds like they have American programs
Yeah,
on.
it sounds like they have American programs on. Don't forget the couple of fire. Yeah, don't forget a couple of fire extinguishers. Might need more than that. Might need a couple of fire trucks. Even that can't put them out. So there's only 20 years between you two. There's 22 years between me and my wife. Do I win? I'm not saying how many years. Um,
It's pretty close, Mexican spec.
yeah, you're off, but you're pretty close. Uh,
Yeah. I don't. Yes, you win. Mexican spec, you get a point for having a really young wife.
I'm 70, and she is more than 20 years younger than me. So we're actually pretty close there. Although I'm not gonna say I'm a Toys R Us kid. I'm putting Carvana.
Wait, Toys R Us just opened up here big time? Toys R Us has been out of business here for a
So
while.
now they're back. They're in Mexico.
I'll be darned.
Hmm. Dean Stevenson's here. Good evening, good afternoon, whatever it is. See, I say good afternoon because he's like in a he's already in tomorrow because he's in New Zealand. Notice the Kiwi. Back when you could identify a car by bumpers, light arrangement, not the boring, yeah, blob ovals we have now. The blob ovals are really year 2000 to 05, somewhere in there. Now they all look angry. I don't know. They're really funny looking. I really like the styles of cars in the 50s, 60s, early 70s, even up to like the early 1980s. There were some good looking cars. 1970 was the first year of 400 cubic inch small block Chevy V8, found mainly in station wagons. 1970 by Chevy. Man, I got a story about one of those, but I got to tell it fast so I don't lose track of the.
Wait a minute though. First, I gotta say, lawn darts were not banned in 1970 because we played lawn darts when I was a kid, so they had to still maybe they were still around but banned. Okay, never mind. Tell your V8 story.
I went with some friends to the Ontario Motor Speedway, which was in Ontario, California. This is like in 1970. I know it was 1971. And we were in a big Pontiac with a 389 in it, like a 65 Pontiac Bonneville with a 389. And we had a car full of people. And we left the racetrack and we're on the interstate, one of the freeways in Los Angeles, 4 or 5 lanes wide, and traffic's moving close to 100 miles an hour. I'd never seen it go that fast back then. But we were cruising along right with them in that big Pontiac. And I think we had 4 or 5 people in that car. And you know, as a hardtop, we had all the windows down. We were being cool, you know. We're going along. And this big Chevy station wagon with a family in it goes, oh, passes us, going probably 5, 10 miles an hour faster than us. And I'm looking over there, and our speedometer sitting at 100, and it said 400 on the side of that Chevy wagon. And I'm thinking, man, that's either got a 402 in it or it's got a 400 small block, and I bet it was a 400 small block. But big car, whole family in it, 105, 110 miles an hour, something like that. Just amazing. And now people drive that fast, I know, because they're stupid, but that was an unusual day. Leaving the racetrack, you know. So, Ukraine, Turkey, there are electric cars in most places in Turkey, Istanbul.
I mean, all over the world, there's lots of electric cars. They have really they've become a oh my.
When when Toys R Us starts selling lawn darts, let me know. Lawn darts are pretty fun. Um, didn't GM have a 400 cubic inch limit on certain cars? I don't know. The You know what? I don't know because I was around the military and aircraft and everything. This really isn't that funny. The F-16. Everybody knows what an F-16 is. The Thunderbirds fly it and everything. And it was the first airplane that had side sticks. It was all electronic, and it was an unstable airplane without the computers. But when they first built that airplane, a couple of them went in. They just went in, and the pilots and the crews started calling them lawn darts. How would you like to get that assignment when you go in the Air Force? Yeah, you're flying F-16. It's everybody calls it the lawn dart. They got that sorted out. they got that sorted out right away. Yard Dart sent my best friend to the ER in the early 80s. Yeah, I can believe that. He's taken off. Take care. Gee, unfortunately, that sort of thing happened. Yeah. Arm dart in one hand, beer in the other. Those were the days. There was the problem.
So when we played lawn darts at family reunions, there was the very specific rule that we all went on one side. We threw our darts at the other side, and then we all walked over and got our darts and then threw them again. So like everybody was always on this opposite side of where the darts were going. The problem arises when you play teams and there's a team on both ends and throwing them at each other. That's like a really, really bad thing. Oh, I recently saw an early Studebaker overdrive transmission on Marketplace for sale. I was like, I was looking it up to see.
JB said he sent me a lot of pictures. Man, you sent me. I think you sent me over 100 pictures, and I'm trying to get through them here a little bit.
We haven't gotten to any of them.
I know. We got to one bunch.
It has been the busiest night we've ever had in the stream.
The stream is really rolling. So
people are like just like shouting out cars, and we can't even go over them all.
Paying attention to that more than I am the cars that I should be looking at, and I haven't been showing like Tavo's. I only showed one of his. Okay, let's see. Here's some more of JB's. Oh, this is good. This is great. Kim, you're going to have to bring it up. Put us in the corner. Wow, it's 1970 all over again. Look at that.
Oh,
the
man.
70 Super B. I think it's a Super B. Dodge Coronet Super B up there. Brand new. Look at this. And Challengers and everything. Is that cool?
Man.
By the way, happy birthday to my brother Kim. Okay, we got to explain something here. Ozan Ukraine Turkey is chatting through a translator. So we'll say, Sister Kim, because probably something got there screwed up. I would bring you a birthday cake, but I'm in Turkey.
Oh, we've got a birthday cake.
Yeah, show
it. But thank you.
I brought her a birthday cake tonight.
Been here. I've shown the cake 3 or 4 times.
There's a cake there.
We got cake. We need our thank you.
We need our floating camera that we can. Okay, here's another one. Man, that's when I remember when the auto transporters were smaller trucks. They weren't the big semi trucks. They were these things.
That Ford truck. I'll bet you it had them big tires from the factory too.
That's brand new stuff coming in.
That's cool.
Man. Okay, here more.
Jarts. Is that a train car?
70 Chevys on a train.
Nice.
Can you believe that? There's the very first second-gen Camaros. Wow. And then this one. Can't find my cursor. Here's the cursor. Look at that. Chevy trucks. Brand new 70 Chevy pickups. That's the body style I like. And that's the body style that I don't understand. Kim, we got the top chopped off.
Man, they put that pickup truck on top of the car hauler. Look at it up there.
That's how they used to always be. I forgot they didn't use semi trucks. They use these they were like giant like the F700s and stuff. But they that's the truck. I don't understand why they don't call that the square body. I mean, that is a square body, but that's the body style after that that's a square body. That's my favorite body style is that one. Let's see here. Ford. Yeah, they were F100s. They weren't F-150s yet, were they? I wasn't 100% sure if those were 70s or not. They could have been. I mean, they sure look like it to me. Uh, Turkish shish kebabs are tasty. 70, yeah, C10s. And the one, you know what's really this body style went from 1967 to 1972. In 1967, the back window was really small. 1 year after that, they all had the big back window. And I remember when the big back window came out, we thought it was really good. Here I am years later going, man, I like the small window better. And it's because it was a 1 year thing, and I thought it looked pretty good. Uh, 3 on the column. Yeah.
If we'd have thought ahead, we'd have done my birth year. But
Ukraine, Turkey. I wasn't in the world those years. Neither was Kim.
me neither. I wasn't born yet.
I was 1970. I was 16 years old.
Honestly, by the time I was old enough to really be aware of what cars were around me, like old enough to be like looking out the window and see what kind of cars, because of where I was, there's a lot of salt, and all these vehicles were rusted, gone. It was all cars from the later 70s, really, that were around.
Um, son says Turkish Rocky. I'm not sure what Rocky is. Is that the food they're talking about? I think. Oh, there's a lot of pictures here. JB sent so many
Well,
pictures.
we don't have to look at every one, but bring a couple
No,
more.
I'm downloading them all. I'm doing them separately because if I do them all at one, then it makes it a zip file, and then I got to deal with that. So I'd rather just click each one. It makes it easy. And so I'm clicking each one. Yeah, like in this email, there's 14 pictures,
Wow.
and he sent a lot of emails.
Thank you so much for sending so many pictures.
Yeah, this is really cool. It's just that there's...
And it's great that everyone is like pretty energized for this topic. So we're going to try and we'll try and do it again.
Oh, and JB, you found my car for me. Here, buying a car out of state is always, it's just, there's struggles. So the struggle here is when I get there, I have to go to the Texas Department of Transportation, whatever their DMV is called, and I have to get a temporary tag, and then that temporary tag's no good in Tennessee. So then when I get here, I don't want to get stopped by the police. So what I decided to do was I paid for the car. The guy sent me the title. I got to go get a license plate. There's no inspection here. It's easy to get a license plate. And I'll take the license plate there. So there's a lack of communication. And he was going to FedEx it to me, the title. But he had his wife do it. And she didn't understand. So she put it in the mail. So the title's in the U.S. mail. So I'm waiting and waiting and waiting. And one day it'll get here.
It won't be till next week.
Texas doesn't have temp tags. Actually, they've changed the laws on that, but right now you can get like a drive out tag or something, but it isn't good in every state. So when I get my title, I'll go get a license plate, and then we'll go to Texas to get the car. But I'll just take my Tennessee license plate, screw it on the car, and then I'm good. Okay, let's see here.
Tim says it was bad when we moved from Canning out to Ohio. The salt on the roads was from under Lake Erie, and it ate up everything. Yeah, cars were just a couple years, 2-3 years old, and they were already having holes rusting out through them because of the salt.
How are you eating that cake?
With my fingers.
Because you got a spoon there. Of course, you're not supposed to eat cake with a spoon, I suppose. I can go get you a fork. Yeah, because
I'm not opposed to
KJ Kylie says, what happened to the willpower on that cake?
That's
how I knew you were eating. I'm reading the chat.
Thanks a lot.
They ratted on you. Oh, here's it. KJ or JB. Look at this. Kim, can you shrink us the other direction or something? Yeah, if you can believe that. At the dealership. There we go in 1970.
You know what? If they had those wing cars, they wouldn't even be able to keep them on the lot now.
And they couldn't sell them. There were dealers that took all the stuff apart and put regular front ends on them to sell them.
It was pretty absurd. You got to
Oh,
think
that
that.
is an insane thing. Now I was 16 then. So, you know what I thought? I thought that was like the coolest thing in the world because they went out, NASCAR went over 200 miles an hour in Talladega with these things. And that's just insane, you know, at the time to go that fast in a stock body car. Now they're not stock body cars. They're tubing cars with plastic bodies on them. What's going on here? What are you grinning about?
I'm
Nothing.
fine.
You're because you're oh you're having cake. Uh,
Oh, now I feel like a piece of garbage because I'm eating cake in front of everybody. I'm sorry, everybody. That was really rude of me.
Macbeth Dodge. Oh, for some reason we've got the head
If
chopped
that
off
cake was
everybody.
sitting right there, like within arm's reach of you for a couple of hours,
Enjoy every mouthful of that cake, Kim. I wanted to enjoy it. That's why I got it.
it's
Kim,
really good, but like
Kim, can
it's
you
so
fix?
rude. My mother would
You
be
got
ashamed
this.
of me.
You got this woman said there. Yeah, that's enough. You had her head chopped off.
So that's a Challenger.
That is a 70 Challenger.
I like that body style. I would
Me
love to
too.
have one of those cars.
My friend Carl, you know who Carl is, who worked for the railroad. That guy has passed away now. Carl had a 70 Challenger that was uh, 383, 4 speed, nice car. Okay, let's see here.
A GNX Buick. What's the significance of a GNX Buick?
I'm lost.
Um, Junkyard D proposed the question, which we had already, which was if you could get any car from 1970, what would it be? And 38 Racing said the GNX Buick, which made me ponder what the heck that is because I
Mexican Spec says something here 1970 429 4 Ford XL Sports Roof Floor Shift C6. Mexican Spec, don't you have one of those right now for sale? Maybe not a 429, but it's got a console and a floor shift, which wasn't even available here. All new GM headlights, 7-inch units used on Chevy, a bunch of other stuff. 70. Let's
what's
see.
the significant? What's different about it than other Buicks? Grand National.
Well, it was a high performance car. Had their super engine in it, whatever. Whichever they had like stage one, stage two, stage all these stage. You could ask Dallas Brown about that. He'd know
Oh,
all of them.
I see.
And they were fast. It's the same body as a Chevelle, but it was Buick's version of it, and it was a fast car. I tried to send plenty from the big three. Yeah, I'm trying to get through them. You sent a lot, JB, and that yeah, thank you. I'm not going real fast on it.
We're talking and we're telling stories and we're
Yeah,
doing all the things.
Grand National.
And thank you everyone for being here for the whole concept of talking about a
70,
year in automotive history.
70 was a GSX. Oh yeah, okay. Mexican Spec says he has a 75 Ford Galaxy LTD, and it has a console and a floor shift. Really, really, really unusual car. I mean, never in the U.S. And I think it was the last year in Mexico. And if you wanted something like that, Mexican Spec's got it. He can get it to you. And man, I looked at that car. I just don't want a car that big. I wanted something small. I was really set on a Fox body. And I kind of looked at Novas a little bit, but Novas are, they're the same thing. People think they're made out of gold. Um, so that's why I bought the one I did. I feel bad. I like Mexican Specs. He's here. He's done stuff for us, everything, and I didn't buy a car from him.
I was sort of upset with you.
Sorry about you. Were upset with me because I didn't buy a car from Mexican Spec.
Well, there were a lot of times you let on like that was what you might do.
That I did lead on like that's what I might do, but I didn't get enough money for my car that I could get the car from him that I wanted, and I wanted that blue Mustang. That was like I really wanted that car.
Well, have you considered selling some organs?
Selling organs?
How many of your kidneys are you really using?
Just one. Okay, we'll put up more of Uh,
Borgman Ford. Where's Borgman Ford?
Borgman. I don't know where
Borgman,
Borgman Ford
Ohio?
is. Well, that's Boardman
Oh,
is
okay.
Ohio. So this is Borgman. I don't know.
Look at
That's
those killer cars. They got them all
70,
out lined up out front.
70 Mustangs, brand new ones, a bunch of them out front.
Man, those are nice cars.
Let's see what does it say here? Yes, Jeff loves the nostalgia. What else did 75 Ford? You know, Tim, yes, Jeff loved it. I am not. All the extra expenses make them more expensive. Yeah, you got some good stuff though. Man, I'm sorry, Mexican Spec. I really wanted that blue Mustang. I just couldn't do it. That just, I mean, not even close. But I looked at it 100 times. I looked at that car. So that's a pretty cool picture.
No more 3T lights then.
Oh,
What's he
look at
talking
this.
about?
World's largest Ford dealer.
Tail lights.
That was the world's largest Ford dealer at the time. Friendly Ford. Oh man, if they could see the car dealerships now. There are huge dealerships now. Yeah, that was a big dealer for back then. Wow. Ernest Borgnine Ford. Did the stream freeze up for anybody else? Uh-oh. Oh, we're still putting out a lot. We're really good right now. And we didn't get the warning, so I don't know what happens. Usually we get a warning if something happens.
Let us know if it, but it
Tommy
seems
Hamlin.
okay.
Tommy Hamlin, read it.
Tommy, just pick the cake up and eat it like a Big Mac. Race straight into it. Go for it, Kim. It's your birthday. All right.
You're really gonna do that? Yeah, they told you to do it. You're gonna do it.
One good bite. This is food porn.
Food porn.
Don't get
Oh, here we go. Just don't drop it. Don't. Oh my God. Okay, everybody, you saw it.
No.
That time, old BMW model cars were in the foreground. Here's your chance. Look, do it.
I did like the old.
Oh, he wanted me to smash you in the face with the cake.
No!
But I'm not gonna do that. That's a special cake. Yes, do it.
That's all they wanted. That's why they told me to try to get me to do it. They want you to throw the cake in my face.
I'm not gonna do that.
He would not. He's a nice man.
Let's see what else.
And he has to live with me.
Okay, here's Tavo's shop.
Oh, it's another Valiant.
It's another Valiant.
We got to get him to find us one of those Hemi 6s.
Where am I there? So you can see the front end of it. You can see the fan in there. No radiator. See, that fan just sucks it along
We got
the
to
road.
find him one of. We got to get him to find us one of those Hemi 6s, as if we can afford to get.
Oh
it
yeah, and then we're
gonna
send it up here in a ship, and then the first time I need a part for it, then what? You know, where are we gonna get parts for that? Just send more parts.
It seems to have just been me. All right. Usually, Patrick. Sometimes people just get buffering on their connection. Hopefully, it doesn't keep doing it.
When we're here in the studio, we have a way we can monitor that. And I look at it, it's always really solid, or usually really solid. But if it isn't, I know it. And we're up in the shop and we're streaming. Every once in a while I get the warning up and I look down and it's like 0. And it's like, oh no, Kim, look at this. And then it comes back. So yeah, it was on.
We rebooted everything and it's been better.
Says you have cake stuck to your face.
I did, but it's gone now.
Oh, it's gone now? Okay.
Yeah.
I have 4 sitting in the shed, not counting the ones in cars. Man.
Mm-hmm.
And they're there and they're not here. We have good engines here. It's just we don't have those.
Yeah. We have engines. We have more engines than cars right now. Well, maybe not. Yeah, we do. We don't need more engines. Plus, it might be really difficult to get parts for those engines here.
That's what I said. We'd be sending more parts up.
Yeah.
Expensive.
It's not practical. It would be neat.
And then
Maybe someday.
If I didn't have to fly in an airplane, I might go down there.
Oh, that
But I don't like flying in airplanes anymore. So
that Valiant has rectangular headlights.
it does.
What year is that one? Do you know?
Yeah, Tava, what year is this one? We have Hemi sixes laying around, like you folks have slant sixes. Yeah, we do have slant sixes.
The slant sixes come and go. Sometimes it'll seem like there's none around, and then all of a sudden I'll see like 6, and they're all like seem pretty good for really cheap, and then I don't buy them, and then when I need stuff, I don't have it. I keep looking for one that still has a Super 6 aluminum Super 6 attached to it, and they're just not.
No, you're not going to find that. And when you do find them, they are really in bad shape. Look at this. Brand new Buicks. Okay, right kind of above your head
Is that
and
like
off
the
to the left.
convention center or something?
Where is this? I don't know. JB sent
What's
this.
it say in pull it the picture down. See, it says Volkswagen, Citroen, Fiat. It's like a
General
car
Motors,
show or
Cadillac, and
something.
yeah, it's a car show. New cars. You look over here, see, there's a Buick, just like Junk Car Willie's Buick there. And then right above your head, there's a brand new Opel GT, if you can believe that. I mean, that's a pretty cool picture. And then a 70 Bonneville right off to your, next to the microphone. There's a 70 Bonneville there. Man. Was on Ukraine, Turkey. You look 18 years younger to me now, Kim.
It's the cake.
It's the cake. 70 was a milestone year for Cadillac with 500 cubic inches. I remember that. Eldorado only V8. 400 horsepower, 550 foot-pounds. Torque. Most torque till Hellcats and Corvette ZR1 Supercharged came out. Who was it? What's the guy's name? Does all the dyno stuff. The guy in Vacaville, California. It's up north, and then he drives down south and uses the. I can't think of his name. He had a Nova, and he was going to use the Nova for like a mule to put engines. Yeah, he's going to put a 500 cubic inch Cadillac in his Nova. I was looking forward to that, but I think he got rid of the Nova. Yeah, that could be Junk Car Willie's Riviera. Yeah, Junk Car Willie is still in here. That could be your Riviera sitting there, brand new.
Maybe.
Did you watch the farm truck when he shipped the truck down? No, I did not. Bought a couple of cars and brought them back to Oklahoma. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. Oh yeah.
I don't keep up with everything that he does. I've seen a couple things.
Oh yeah. I was right. That's a Manta sitting back there between the Opel GT and that other Buick, the American Buick. There's a an Opel Manta there. I really like those too.
Which one? This one right
That's
here?
the Opel GT, the one right in front of it. Keep moving your feet. No, that's Junk Car Willie's car.
This one.
Go the other way. That one is a Manta.
Oh, okay.
It's an Opel Manta.
They got all the cars there.
Yeah, if you could see everything in that.
BNR Racing says Richard Holdner.
Richard Holdner. You know, you're on his lives a lot. I used to watch his lives a lot, but you know what happened? There's so much content out there. I can't watch it all. So
BNR, you get a point.
I catch some. Yeah, you get a point
because you knew the answer.
Richard Holdner. So Richard Holdner was going to put a 500 cubic inch Cadillac in his Nova, and then I see Mexican Spec says here another open. I think he means Opel is a Cadet, and that's the one that's even further. Further that way, Kim. Yeah, that's an Opel Cadet. I didn't know the Cadet and the Manta overlapped, but I guess they did. Okay. Well, now that all that coolness is gone, let's see what there's another picture, maybe at the same place. Hemi Orange Highway. Oh, man. and there's a 70 Super Bee right behind my head, and a Dart with the two hood scoops. Yeah, 70,
Mm-hmm.
70 Dart. Man, you guys really came through with this 70 cars. This is pretty good. Richard keeps funny hours. Comes on lunchtime in Chicago time. At night can be 5 p.m. to 2 a.m. Yeah, you never know. And see, he lives in Vacaville, California. I used to live in Vacaville. At one time, I was there because I was at the Air Force Base there. So I was at Vacaville all the time. I found out, I know right where he lives. It's like, oh, yeah, I know where that is. And then he gets in his truck with engines that drives all the way down to the Los Angeles area to do dyno runs. I don't know if he's still doing that. And then he comes back up and he ties like a come along or something to a tree to put, he goes like from the finest dyno in the world to a come along in a tree to put his engines in. This guy that knows how to work. Ozan, we have an Opel Vectura. It is very old. My father bought it in 2004, the engine model. Okay, you got to look that up because we don't know what that is.
Okay.
Calville, that's exactly what Vacaville means. Calville. Vacaville. So if you know about Vacaville, what's there? Well, it was a small town when I was there. Now it's enormous. And there's what's the prison called? It's where they put people that are crazy, but it's a prison. It's in Vacaville. But Vacaville has become a huge city. He's still at West Tech. Okay. Yeah, well, probably Manson used to live in Vacaville too. Yeah, because he lived in the prison. Yeah, there's also a Victorville. Victorville is like at the other end of the state. It's out in the desert. Okay, so here we are looking at what they have is VECTIRA.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what that is.
I know.
Oh, you put that. It's not coming up with that. It's coming up with something else. You're gonna have to put it up on the screen. Get some answers on that. Vacaville had the sub factory. Now they make custom EVs there. Commuted through there for 4 years. You know what I see? I was at Travis Air Force Base, and then they had the nut tree there. Now the nut tree, I think the nut tree's closed, but the airport's still there. So
It doesn't come up. I'm sorry.
well, then Tavo says Vectra. So
No, the
maybe.
Vectra is a more modern car starting in 1988.
So you got to remember, this is going through. Ozon's going through a translator. I wonder. Look up
It might be a
Turkey. Look
Turkish
up Turkey.
car.
Look up Turkey.
Okay. Give me a second.
Okay. Are you having trouble? I'm sorry. Yeah. So there's a place there called the Nut Tree, which is like they had a bookstore. See, first of all, the guy that had the Nut Tree, which is not a nut tree. I mean, I guess that's how it got started. It was a facility. And they have a little mini train that goes back and forth the airport back to this facility. And they had restaurants there. They had a bookstore that was all aviation stuff. They had stuff for the kids. They had all kinds of things. No, the nut tree was not, no, it was a different place. Insane asylum. Well, I never thought about that. But the nut tree, I used to go out there because of all this aviation stuff, and you ride the little train out there, and then when I fly up there I fly a small plane, like a Cessna 150 or something. I fly that up to the nut tree and park it there, and go to work at Travis Air Force Base, and then go back in the airplane. Mrs. One-Eyed Cat, good evening.
I don't find it.
You don't find it? Well, maybe bring up one of those. Bring it up, and maybe we can make sense out of it. Yeah, there
But
were
it's
miles
not
of
from.
not. Yeah, I know. Did you put up a year? Like, I don't know what old is.
I don't know what old is either. It's showing me this, and this looks like a car from the 90s.
That says 94. I don't know. We'll get some comments on it. What is this? Okay. There were miles of nut orchards. I forgot about that.
Is it older than this?
Reagan closed all the nut orchards. Reagan closed all the nut orchards. I don't know how you
Hi,
could do that.
Wendy.
I
Welcome
don't know
to
if
the
you could do that.
stream.
Okay. The Cuckoo's Nest. Oh yeah, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. That was a great movie. So
You got quiet.
pistachios. Well, because we're looking at this picture, and I'm ready to bring up more pictures, but I want to look at this picture because I want comments on it. So let's see.
That car's not from the 1970s.
Oh, I know. I don't know how to find that. This is how Opal Victoria is written. Yeah, we tried that. Why doesn't that come up when you search it? Let me see what I
Oh, with a K. I
Beck. Oh,
spelled
Beck.
it wrong.
Beck. Okay, you got the spelling wrong. So it was an insane asylum, world famous in Peoria, Illinois, closed for a long time. Oh. Daily shock therapy all took for hours. Leather strapped down.
Oh, that's scary. I don't want to talk about that either.
Okay, so now you have doesn't come up with it. Oh, what's that?
Oh, you know what?
Oh, because it's correcting you and you don't want it to correct you. Why is it doing that? Stupid
I
automatic
don't know. I
correct.
don't want to get distracted by
Automatic
this.
correct.
I'm sorry. We don't know how to find that.
It's correcting it to something that it isn't. There's one there in the middle with the green dot.
This?
Yeah, that other one is in Russian. That one, oh, that's in Russian as well. Well, it's spelled in Cyrillic. I suppose it could be Ukrainian. I didn't look at it quickly enough to see what it said. I don't speak Ukrainian worth a darn. I don't know much Ukrainian at all.
Oh, no, that's a lie. I don't know. I'm
What's that
sorry.
one
We
right
can't
there?
find it.
That's in 1995. Geez, why is this so difficult?
I don't know, but I don't want to work on the
Okay, you don't
difficult
want to
things.
work on
We're
it.
missing all of the things that we should be talking about that were pertaining to what we're
Yeah,
trying to do.
we've spelled it right,
We'll try and do it again another time.
and what it does
I
is
don't know how to find it
it
tonight.
Google corrects the spelling after we put it in right. Jelly beans are made across the freeway from where the Nut Tree restaurant was. Really? Yeah, see, that whole area must have grown up out there because there was nothing out there except an airport and the Nut Tree facility. Like watching the proper people prowl old abandoned state asylums. I've seen video like that.
Or they go in there with the ghost hunting equipment and look for spirits.
I was like, suggest the spelling is yeah, okay, I already said it. Yeah, we've Danny Boyd says Russian vehicle is Bacteria with a C. I don't know.
I tried it both ways and didn't have any luck. I'm
It
sorry.
keeps correcting it to
We're gonna move on
something
because
else.
there's
Yeah,
so
I'm
many
sorry.
pictures that people took so much time to send us so many pictures.
Okay, so can you put the pictures back up and my pictures back up, and then
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah, I just sometimes things don't work.
yeah, and that didn't work very well. Sorry about that.
It's a broken. Oh, what auto show is this?
I don't know, but look at that. Same thing, 1970s cars. Man, might be that same show.
Look, they got that wagon in there. You know, that's a different venue.
1970, we had a high school.
Danny Boyd said yes. Vector away from that.
Back away from that, yeah.
Now we're going to take a soft pivot and go back to the auto show.
Let's see, we had a high school field trip tour of the GM assembly plant in Linden, New Jersey. They were building Cadillacs and Oldsmobiles. Later, I owned a used 70 Cutlass, which was assembled there. That's kind of interesting when you get something that's, you know where it came from. Okay, I'm going to try another one here. I'm not sure what this picture is. Oh, it's some other kind of show. Man, look at that big Chrysler, whatever that is behind me. That thing, you can't see it. That one right there. It's that big old C body with a surround bumper, and there's one of those Chargers back there with the bumper. Full, what have they called that bumper? That's a loop. That was when auto shows were exciting. How about some 70 Vans? Oh man, yeah, that. You know when the Vans really came around, it was mid 70s. It went crazy. It was a 70 Trans Am like mine, Kim, here, polar white. 6th Street Garage. Midgeville, Georgia is infamous for state. Okay, we're going to creep away from the creep. How do you like that? Creep away from the state hospitals. I didn't. Oh, Fuselage Newport. Okay, that's what that's called. I don't think that's a Newport, though. Is it?
I mean, that would make sense.
Except it's a big one with
300?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Something with hidden headlights. So it might, the Newport was the lower priced one. Yeah, he says Chrysler, or Mexican spec says Chrysler 300. Must be what it is. The Vega was introduced in 71. Vega was 1971. Well, it was late in 1970, but it was a 71 model. Oh, loop bumper. Yeah, it's called a loop bumper. I couldn't think.
It's in the center of the photo, Kim.
Come see here. Center of the photo.
Oh, the name of the place where it was. Okay. Moving along.
You come see
it's a rotary turntable.
What new?
Oh yeah, that car spun around. Nice.
I remember used car lots used to have those things out there, and the car lots that had money would have one. The car would sit out there and turn. When I was a little kid, I used to think that was so cool. Go by the Chevrolet dealer, it said "OK used cars," and there'd be a car out there on a thing. Used in 1970 as a 71 model. Okay, that's the Vega. Yep. 70 SEC football player of the year was Pat Sullivan. John Wilburn. Eyeballs.
Welcome to the stream, John.
In 1970, I quit college and worked at the Fisher Body Plant in downtown Cleveland. Front-wheel drive cars. In 1970?
What would that be? The
front-wheel drive in 1970?
That would be the only thing they had that front-wheel drive was
nothing. First front driver GM car was the 1980 was the can't think of what it's called.
What kind of front wheel drive
cars
what kind
of front drive car was it? I remember the smell of fresh rust proofing on new cars. They would drip on the driveway for a week. Oh, I don't remember that. Of course, I lived in Southern California, so hardly any of that around. Back when we still waved Old Glory down the courthouse. By John Wilburn. Let's see. Nice. Rotisserie. Oh, it's kind of like a rotisserie. It's like a sideways rotisserie. Oh, I know. You're right. That's what it was. It was Eldorados and Tornados. Probably not Rivieras.
Yeah.
1970 wasn't Rivieras yet. But yeah, okay. I'd forgotten all about those things.
Yeah, they had a chain drive
that makes complete sense. Yeah, I'm sorry. I couldn't think of that. I was thinking of this little sideways engines cars. Yeah, and everybody's going Tornado, Eldorado. Yeah. Because I'm an idiot. I forgot that. Yeah, 66 Tornado. Man, did I like those things when they came out. I still think that's one of the best looking cars ever designed. They moved the front wheel drive cars, Eldorado, Riviera, Tornado, to Detroit. I was transferred to Youngstown to assemble Vegas. Man, I remember Youngstown. I was real close to Youngstown for a while. It was I was in Sharon, Pennsylvania at the time, and there was a guy that worked for us that I worked with in the shop. He's an airplane guy, but his father ran the paint booth, whatever shift it was. He ran the paint booth at that assembly plant, that GM assembly plant. I think it's Dallas. I don't know what that is. Even the Riviera was rear drive until 79. Yeah, the Riviera, it's really weird. The Riviera was basically the same body as the Eldorado and Tornado, except it had a whole different floor pan because it was a rear driver, and Tornado and Eldos were front drivers. Yeah, GM TH425. They moved them to Detroit for the 71. Man, remember that 71 Riviera with big boat tail fastback? I thought those were great. I had a customer in my first radiator shop that he had one of those 71 rivs, and he'd bring that thing every year, and I'd service it, flush the system, any hoses, any belts, anything it needed. He goes, just do it. And I'd take care of it. Yeah, Lordstown, Ohio, that's where that was. And that was very close to Sharon, Pennsylvania. See, Cope. Oh, John Wilburn Cope's looking for a cheap 425. Anyone happens to have one? I know somebody that has one.
Who?
But it's probably in a running car, and he might have a couple of them.
Oh, well,
that's Levi.
Oh, Dylan.
Dylan, he might have a couple of those cars. I know.
Yeah, that's. I think that's true, John.
I think
he might
Brooke,
check with.
But
he was here earlier tonight.
Brooke has a front driver that they were talking about racing it. But you know how it is when you got one of those things. You're gonna be racing. You're gonna have more of them.
Yeah, they might know where there's more.
I think the Riviera used a version of the full-size floor pan. Yeah, isn't that? Yeah, the Riviera. The Riviera. I think you're right. It's close. Rear-wheel drive reviews. Azan, let me go.
Thanks for being here, Azan. We'll see you later in the week or maybe next week.
Yeah, thanks for coming by. It's good you're here. And maybe we'll find during the week sometime. I'll try to find a picture of that car and maybe bring it up. Or if you could get one, send it to my email. Get a picture of one of those Opals, and I'll show it.
Yeah. In case anyone haven't figured it out, Azan is not English speaking. They're using Google Translate to enjoy the stream. So we really are. We're making friends all around the world. And they're people, they come back to enjoy. They're enjoying your chat, and they're enjoying the visual stuff that we're talking about. And I think that's really cool. I never expected that.
Oh, so. Dylan says, I didn't realize those newer ones had a smaller transmission, be a 325. I didn't know that. I thought all the front drivers were 425. Shows what I know. The local nunnery had a light blue checker 8-door wagon. I remember those things. Take out it's for $100, whatever that is. Yeah, okay, so Dylan's gonna have the smaller transmission. Yeah, Google Translate. That's great. Yeah, you can put my. Maybe I can do it.
Put what?
My email address one more time. So Ozan, Ukraine Turkey can click on it.
For what? Oh, so they can send us stuff?
Send pictures of that car that we can't find the pictures. They probably have pictures. And then just send it to my email and we'll show the pictures of that car you're talking about, because I'm kind of interested to see what it is.
Yeah, it would be cool to see.
Okay, this is a livery bus. Brent owned a nightclub bar in Peru, Illinois. I wrenched on that 707 Jetway a lot in the 2000s. A 707 Jetway. Has everyone noticed how Ozan makes more sense than me? It's because you're not using a translator. We can't understand that New Zealandish.
I appreciate everyone being
That's funny. That's pretty good.
Sometimes it takes a little extra effort to communicate with people who are not native English speakers. So I appreciate everybody who is patient with us when we try. There's a lot of streams where they wouldn't stop and take the time. Oh man, it's a judge.
A judge. I remember when these things came out in 1970. Across the street from me was a Pontiac dealer. I guess they had Pontiac GMC trucks. And I thought this is the stupidest looking thing I'd ever seen with all this judge written all over it and everything. And it's become a car that people really like. I mean, it was fast, but I thought it looked silly with all this stuff all over it.
You know what, Danny Boyd? I think I've seen that. Didn't Mortsky Repair have one of those stretch checker that they got from an old air? It was an old airport transport vehicle.
Who's this?
Mortsky of Mortsky
Oh, it
Repair.
could be.
Am I wrong? I don't know.
I think I've only seen pictures of those. Racing. What are they talking about? I missed something. 60 Garage. You remember when new car dealers had promos to attract customers? Barrington Ford in Columbus, Georgia had something different every month. Budweiser, Clydesdale's miniature. There was a guy in Southern California, Cal Worthington Ford, and he had animals. He always had like his dog, and then pretty soon he had, I don't know what, a badger and a lion. He always have them on top of the hood of the car for the commercials. Yeah, I don't know who he knew at the zoo to bring all these animals out. Yeah, Mortsky had it. Okay.
See, I know a little. I've been watching.
Okay, I'm going to try to download more. We have more pictures. Let's see here. Where is my... I can't find my cursor.
See, Tim's teaching you Mexican spec. That's the cool thing about being in a big group of people with like a diverse knowledge and experience. People who actually worked in the assembly plants telling us stuff like they switched it up on the weekends to do the rear-wheel drive Rivieras.
They would switch it. I missed that. Yeah, isn't that amazing? It was the same body, but the underneath was front or rear drive. I always thought that was crazy. Okay, I'm looking away. I'm downloading pictures again. Kim, you're gonna have to take care of that while I'm doing this.
JB says I can only take Morsky when he is with Puddin. Morsky does some really, really long videos. I rarely, sometimes if I'm having problems sleeping, I'll put Morsky on and like let him play while I'm not even watching the screen. I'm just like, because he's calming. He has a very calming voice to me. But it's really hard to just sit and watch 2.5 hours of Morsky, but I'll click through, or I'll put it on like fast speed. I'll play him on 1.5 speed, and then he gets like, "Come on, Morsky, get a move on with it." He does the old Morsky flick, sells his screwdrivers. I do enjoy watching him and Pudding's Fab Shop together. Actually, I do think they have a good interaction there when they're both working on stuff. And I recently watched when he had that, what was it? He had that Roadster and he drove that Roadster home. I think I watched that whole video. But yeah, it's hard for me to watch all of anything anybody does. And then some days I'll just be like, I cannot stand another minute of content about cars. Like I don't want to watch anything anybody. I don't want to watch anybody talk about cars. But I guess we all can hit burnout sometimes.
Look what Danny Boyd's saying about this 70 Pontiac. I like 70 Pontiacs, by the way.
Oh, tell me about it. Who?
Danny Boyd goes. What was the first thing he said?
It's gone, isn't it?
Oh, there it is. 455 in this convertible. 1970, high compression, 500 foot-pounds, 455.
Oh, wow. Was it a pace car or was it just a
Is it
parade car?
Catalina convertible? It's either a Bonneville or Catalina. I don't know the difference looking at it from here. Um,
Who else just had a limo on a video? It was that Cletus McFarland. They just bought like a '57 Chevy limousine.
really.
I don't know what they're gonna do with it. I think I
Hopefully they
did.
don't.
I think I
Hopefully they
watched
don't
it.
ruin it.
Oh, they're gonna do something terrible with it because that's what they do with everything. Rednecks with paychecks is what that amounts to.
What is this?
Sadly, I didn't get to the Lone Star Roundup this year. Mortsky and Pudding were there. They're entertaining. I don't know that I would wait in line to meet them for 5 seconds. I don't think they would. I don't think they would like they wouldn't know who I was, and they'd just be like, "Meh." Like the meet and greets are. I don't know. To me, it's kind of. I don't know. I'd feel weird doing that to people.
It's a Catalina. Okay, I didn't know it was a Catalina.
You know what though? I like when I see people they do meet and greets and they'll sign your stuff and then like they'll donate like the entry fees or whatever to like some kind of charity or something like that.
Okay, so now here we have one of those Oldsmobiles that we were talking about earlier that has the gold
Pace car.
the gold
The gold what?
hood with the scoops up there. I can't think of what this is called.
Oh.
This particular Oldsmobile.
But
But
442?
it's 442, but it's kind of a special 442.
Last year for high compression. Yeah, man. And then now all the cars now are high compression because the high compression runs the ethanol fuels more efficiently.
What was my Mazda? It was like 13.5 to 1 or
Yeah,
something. It's crazy.
super high compression. So they made it go away, and now they bring it back.
But everything changed. It was direct injection, so it's injecting fuel right into the cylinder.
Yeah.
And it was all electronic. Makes it work. But yeah, it's a Hearst W30. You're right. I couldn't think of that. That's what this is, Kim. Last time I went to Lone Star Roundup, I was getting food and accidentally bumped into Jimmy Vaughn, SRV's brother and founding member of the fabulous Thunderbirds. Nice guy.
Oh wow, that is like a really random like stroke of like good fortune, I guess.
There's a real.
I wouldn't know who that.
There's a real prominent designer. If any of you are into home built airplanes or even any airplanes, you know who this guy is. His name is Jim Beattie, and I was at Oshkosh one year, and it was cloudy, terrible day, and nobody was flying. And I think it was probably an Air Force F-15 jet took off, and you could hear it going down the runway, and he just disappeared into the clouds. So you never saw the airplane, but it was two afterburners going. You know how noisy that is. So just all this racket, and it finally the noise starts to diminish, and somebody behind me says, "Sure, a lot of noise for nothing," or something like that. I turn around, Jim Beattie's standing there. And this is a guy I've like read everything he's written, and he had these videos. I bought all his videos and everything. There's this guy standing there making this comment. I turned around and like, whoa. Thanked him for all his stuff that he'd done over the years. Sadly, he's passed away now too. It's just kind of funny that happened. Zahn says, "I'm here for practice learning English." I wish I knew something. I don't see. Russian comes out when I try to speak any language from there. Russian comes out. I feel like going "Хорошо," which means good. But I don't know if Ukraine. I don't know Ukrainian. They have some words that are similar to Russian, some that are not. Octane don't grow on trees, but rather stalks. Oh, the reason for octane drop is economics. The farmer has given ethanol back to the engineering bag of tricks. You never know who you run into down here. Yeah, this guy that I got to talk to him in person when I pick the car up. I think he'll probably just, it'll probably be okay when I tell you who he is, but pretty interesting character. Steve said, well, thankfully, my father was Catholic when I was conceived. So I was around 9 months of 1969. Okay. Okay, let's see what other pictures I have. What is this one? Oh, it's a Torino. How's the cake, Kim?
Really good.
Really good. I know you like your sweets, and I thought you'd like that. And I didn't know what to tell you when I ran off to the store. It's like, what I got? Finally, I just said, just pay attention to what you're doing. I'm going.
It's good that you didn't tell me because I'd have told you not to get it.
Yeah, but it was already in the works. It's too late. A lot of Ukrainians understand Russian. They just, yeah, well, of course, yeah, half of Ukraine spoke Russian. And when it was Soviet Union, the people I know from Ukraine, because of my age, they all grew up in the Soviet Union. Yeah, so they spoke Russian at school. And so, but now, things have really changed. Okay, so we're back to this. I think that's a 71, isn't it? Is that a 70 or I think that's a 71, isn't it? That pace car? Man, I'm not sure. I think it's a 71. I just sent pictures of my Camaro. Okay, well, I'll have to look at that. I got one more to show here. I haven't showed all these pictures, of course, but I've showed some.
Wow.
That's a 70 Mach 1. Kim, somehow, when I zoom in, it clips the front end off.
I keep moving around. It depends on.
Oh, okay. Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay.
I've moved things
So
around.
Anyway, then I'm gonna go.
That's my job.
Oh, the caption said 70. Okay, so it might be a 70. A friend of mine had a 71 Ranchero, and it looked very much the grill actually looked the same, but that doesn't mean it had the right grill in it. Oh yeah. Wait a minute. Oh, there's more pictures. More pictures. Let's go back here. Who was it just sent pictures? Mike N. Okay. Oh, now I see why it's Mike N. People send me emails and then their real names on here. Well, I don't want to just go blurt that out, but now I see why it says Mike N. Okay, let's see here.
Yeah, people felt the huge loss of torque when they dropped it to 8.2 to 1. Oh.
What was the other one I want to see here? Who was this? Who was this? This was first. I think this was Tavo.
There's a Dodge there on the crane.
Oh my God, look at this.
Oh, those are exhaust pipes.
Look, see the white brand new Ute?
Yep.
Oh man.
They're building some cars.
I'm gonna start pulling some of these down because I've got too many pictures open. And then I'll piss the computer off. Okay, I got enough of them closed. Okay, now we're gonna move on to the Camaro. And this is wow, look at that.
Ooh, that's a nice restoration.
69. My 69 was not a Z28, but it had that grille. Mine didn't have the hidden headlights. My 67 had the hidden headlights, but my 69 had that front end on it. And then the next one, Mike N.
Why am I sweating if I'm cold?
I don't know. Mike N, what are those headlights? I want to know what those headlights are.
What do you mean?
Well, those are not stock headlights. I bet those things work really well. What are they? I don't like the flat hubcaps. Oh, I missed whatever that is. Let's see whatever that is. Oh, the
Instead of moons.
oh, I see. They're the rally wheels, but they don't have the rally caps in the center. I got a set of those. I got a set of those wheels and rally caps, and I planned on using them on my Studebaker when I used all the
Zoom back
jam.
out. Those wheels look a lot more shiny from a distance.
It's not a Z28. It's fake. Well, you know what? Whoever faked it did a good fake job. I don't care when they're fake. Some people get really upset over that, but you know what? I don't care as long as it looks good.
It's a
I
tribute
mean, you
car.
think about it. It came down the same assembly line, and somebody looked at the build sheet and they either put Z28 on the side of it or they didn't. You know.
No, there's a little more to it.
Well,
than that.
okay, but I mean, you can option one up that has the same option as Z28, except for the stripes and the Z28 logo. But I mean, the thing is, they came down the same assembly line. So I guess it was a Z28. And you want to keep it correct and all that. Yeah, cool. But if you want your car to look like a Z28, I mean, big deal. So what? You know?
That is a beautiful driver. That looks way better than just a driver. I can understand it's not a show car, but that's a really really pretty car.
Probably have 75 to 100,000 picks like that. Assembly, haulers, dealers. Shows from the 30s, saved them for more than 25 years. Kim, where are you going? Where are you going?
I'm gonna put this in the fridge so I stop eating it.
She's putting the cake in the fridge so she stops eating it. Is there any room in that refrigerator?
No.
Yeah, it's time to clean the refrigerator. There is a box.
Is it in your bedroom?
Go in my bedroom and look on the bed. You will find it's a clear plastic box. She's putting the cake away so she doesn't eat it. I bought it for her to eat it. And there's chocolate ice cream in there for her to put chocolate ice cream on it.
Stop.
Then we'll both be diabetics. Okay, let's see here. Oh wow, JB, you should make videos of them. Nice 69. Is it your car? So it's your way. See, I drive that. That's a beautiful car. Who cares? The only thing is I've got the rally center caps that I put on it because I like those wheels.
I would never drive it with those center caps.
No, I just that's the only change I'd make that car. But it looks good like it is. Jeez, I mean, it looks really good the way it is.
Hell yeah, it does.
That inspection sticker expired in 01. Richard Holdner doesn't discuss the fact. Uh-oh, what was that? Additionally, West German TV required all car makers to supply DIN net horsepower, DIN or DIN net horsepower figures from 66 onwards. Again, I refuse to remove it. Gorgeous Camaro, technically, it could be a 70 since the 69 model year was extended. It sure could be. Very few people know that. 1969 was extended and the 70 came out late. And so I think, I'm not sure, but I think there was some of that body style that were registered as 70s. I think that was the case, but I'm not sure. And I remember when the 70 Camaro came out, it was kind of introduced as a 70 and a half model, only nobody ever said that after that, so I really don't know. We made probably Renault, who is the local Turkish car. Oh man, I can't pronounce that website, Turkey. Kim will have to look that up. Europeans figured out what the USA was doing with its gross horsepower ratings before the US insurance companies. Oh, that whole mess. What's your engine tranny combo? DIN horsepower, DIN radios. Oh, they come up with next. Loud noise. Dean Richard, he doesn't like delving deep in race engine math. I put an Edelbrock top end kit in it and got rid of the Muncie in favor of a Tremec 5-speed. Man, so you got a Tremec 5-speed in that. You built the engine. You know that's got to be a fun car. And those first gen Camaros, they handle good. They drive nice. They're just nice cars. I respect Richard for that. It's extremely funny, and I love his lives because of it. So Dean, I was in some live. I don't remember what it was. I didn't remember what it was. I stopped into somebody's live, and there you are. So I thought it was pretty funny. And I don't remember where it was, but it was somewhere I hadn't been before. And man, there's Dean in somebody else's live. Din film speeds were annoying, but never had an issue with the rest of those standards. This one was built in Ohio in mid-69. Okay. 70 Camaro came out a little late because of a UAW strike. Okay, so maybe, because I remember the 69 Camaro being kind of around late, but maybe they didn't make any into 70 year. I don't know. I remember that whole mess that the 70s came out late. I have no problem with clones as long as you're honest about it. Yeah, of course. 38 Racing, I missed whatever he said. Dean, I seen he shot you down on your formula to calculate top speeds potential for kilometers or miles per hour. What does DIN stand for? Yeah, I know the radios are like single DIN, double DIN, DIN and a half. I have a lot of Norwood assembly picks, but I don't think I have many of 69 picks. Oh, I know why I want you here. When you're running off. What time's it getting to be? You know what we have to do? We have one more chore tonight. Kim.
What?
Somebody here has to decide or suggest, and I think whoever, somewhere between like 1950-ish to 1980-ish, a year for next week.
Well, I was going to suggest that next week we probably will not plan anything special because there is the possibility that we will be out of town and we will not be streaming next week.
Well, I think we'll try to make a point of it, but okay, if we're gone next week, I'll put it up in the community page, or we'll just have a video or something about it. But I'll probably put it up in the community page, which is now called posts, depending on whether you're signed in or not. If you're not signed in, it says community. If you are signed in, it says posts. I'll put something up there if we're not here next Tuesday. If we're not here next Tuesday, we'll just carry it to the next week. So what year do we want to go to next? Somewhere in that group, 50s, 60s, 70s cars. Stream live from the road. Kiwi did it. Yeah, that was a rough stream. I was in almost that whole thing. And there's something to be said for quality. I don't know. We might do that, but if we're doing that, I don't want to be, because here we can show pictures and do all this. What is this 38 Racing?
We could do that, but are you sure we don't want to do something further out?
Don't tell how old a woman is.
I don't care.
She doesn't care. Dean Stevenson, I'm everywhere, but Dean Engine Race, Math appears to have skipped. She says she doesn't care.
Well,
Deutsches.
He was first to say
Nuremberg.
So we'll do next time we do this. It's going to be 1975.
Okay, I said the first person up. Okay, so next week is 1975, and
but it might be.
He says there isn't much to say about 1975 cars. Well, there were
you're going to have to dig a little deeper.
There's those cars you're showing, and one of your cars was a Mustang 2 with a 302 in it. I mean, that's something. What else was there? 75, yeah, everything was starting the low compression and the catalytic converters and all that, but there's still some good cars. AMC had some good cars. Well, I loved that Matador. And then what else was around? I don't know.
Dig 1975. For more history. It could be automotive adjacent, right? The thing
Oh,
about
Kim mentioned earlier that you were born in
I
75.
may have
Okay, so okay, you're forgiven.
we could
1970
talk about emissions, what changed,
Blue Grit says 1975 is fine. We could discuss emissions.
You can send a picture of all those vacuum lines under the hood of a Honda.
Jeez.
Wasn't it
Are
Honda
we
that
sure
had
we want
like a
we're
giant
gonna do 75? Uh
vacuum tree?
you know what? 75 custom. What was the Brooklyn, there's a 75 car. That I remember that real well. Yeah, a friend of mine, his father, I've told you about this. His father was a Fiat dealer and Citroen dealer where I lived, and it was kind of a small dealership. And then Brooklyn came around. All of a sudden, he's got two brand new Brooklyns in his showroom, and man, everybody's over there looking at him. So he was a Brooklyn dealer for however long they last. I got a brochure for my 75 Duster. There we go. 75 Duster. And what else? What were the midsize the B body Chrysler cars in 75? Um,
I don't know, but we'll talk about it
yeah.
in the next stream when
And
we
then
do it,
of
which will
course
either be next week or
of
the week
course
after.
I expect Mexican Spec will come up with some 75 cars because I know of one he has that I really liked. Um, used to deliver pizzas in a 75 Nova cop car, lasted 354 barrels. You know what? That's where the rear end for my Studebaker, the one I planned on using in it, is a corporate 10-bolt corporate from a 75 Nova police car. And most of those corporate rear ends did not have leaf springs, but the ones out of the Novas did, and that's why I was able to grab that thing. The Brooklyn was better to look at than to drive. You know, all cars are probably pretty nice to drive when they're new, and then some of them deteriorate quicker. And that was probably one of them. Never got out of Moraine either. Yeah. 1979, Dad bought a Delta 88 Royale from Tom Harrigan. He bussed us up to Lansing for a plant tour. The tour was
Canceled.
something. What?
Canceled. So we had to catered lunch, got in our new cars, and all drove back to Dayton.
So anyway, my point is, you have a Brooklyn dealer's brochure. Well, that's pretty cool. I think there was a lot of stuff in 75. 70 was an interesting year. This is a good one to start on. But in 1975, man,
this was a soft pitch.
What
you
I
couldn't
was
pick a much better year for really cool cars, and I feel like we could do a month of 1970, and wouldn't be able to fit it all in.
Yeah, 75 G bodies were hot. You're right. And I think back, what was I doing in 75? Well, I had my radiator shop, but what was I doing on the side? Oh, you're going to laugh now. Van interiors. Putting shag carpeting and bars and beds and stuff, all that
See,
stuff.
we didn't even talk about we know
all that stuff.
Somebody mentioned vans, but we didn't bring up a single picture of a van.
Because 1970, that wasn't a big deal yet. By 75, man, everybody had a van. I don't know about everybody, but most young people had a van with a bed across the back, sideways across the back. Then they had like a bar and a place in the middle, and they had their CB antennas on it, two big CB antennas on top of it, and that was the thing then. So and bubble windows, yeah.
Oh, Mexican Spec says there was only 300 of those Shelby Mavericks made.
Man. Yeah, that's what you said.
I have that picture.
Oh, yeah, put that back up. Put that back up. Where is it? You have it. I know you have it. Yeah, look at that thing. Until I met Mexican Spec, I didn't even know that existed.
Mike says his observation bubble is leaking again, Buff. I don't understand what that means.
Oh, they have these bubble rooftop windows, and they leak like hell. That's what you know. What happens? You take a nice new van, and you cut a hole in it, and you do kind of an okay job, and then you put this window in that's cheap. You know what happens?
Oh,
it rains.
It leaks.
When I was in my early 20s, one of my roommates had a 78-ish ex-cop Nova. I liked those cars, not because they were ex-cop cars, because they were beefy little Novas, and they had all the good stuff. Shaggin' wagon. My aunts and uncles were hippies in 1975. I was not a hippie, but I had, vans weren't. See, the hippie vans were like a little earlier than that. Most were Volkswagen buses, but after that, the vans were a thing. They used to have car shows that were just vans. Oh yeah, well, there were no Fox Mustangs yet, Dan. Not in '75. We had that phase with car-based panel vans, like a Ute with a high roof over. I saw some of those. No room for a bed across it, so it went down the middle. Yeah, I remember those things. Haven't seen pictures of those vans with like a high top. Looked like a little baby ambulance kind of thing, but it was more squared off. My dad had a grabber with rims, just like those. Always assumed they were aftermarket.
Well, if it's a Shelby version of a vehicle, it may have been, just those 300. It may have only been on the Shelby cars.
But Carfano says 1970, best year for muscle car. The big three hit it out of the park. Man, I don't know. 67, 8, and 9, and 70, 71. Man, I mean, that group of years right there were outstanding. I don't know if I'd want to say 70 was the best. But yeah, it was a good one, that's for sure. Uh, Vans and CBs were pretty. Yeah. And I still have CB radios and I still have a van. But my van doesn't have a bed in it. It's got a bunch of junk in it. It's got tools and a ladder and it's a work vehicle. Uh, Also had a 74 E100 panel wagon with meats. My dad was the clean cut one of 12. Let's see. If you couldn't go fast, you might as well be posh. I guess people figured. Jaws came out in '75. Has that been that long ago?
We're gonna need a bigger
has
boat.
that been 50 years ago? I remember Jaws. Oh God, Kim.
It would have been, yeah.
The same year you were born.
Yeah, because that was before the Star Wars movies.
My mom's two younger brothers were pretty hippie-ish. Sleeper dude picked up a Maverick Grabber, engine stuck though. I haven't watched Sleeper Dude in a while. He's east of here a bit.
You know what though? He'll be able to get an engine.
Oh yeah. Well yeah, of course. A Maverick, you can put all the small sixes in it. You can put all the small block V8s in it. And then of course, if you know how to weld, you can put anything in it. And he knows how to weld. I think his kids are learning how to weld. He's a pretty interesting guy because he's got two sons, two daughters, and they just dive in on those cars and work on them. It's pretty cool stuff. And then they all jump in the truck with a trailer behind it and take the cars to like a burnout contest or something. Family burnout contest, pretty cool stuff. 71st year of Monte Carlo and Pinto. 71, first year of Pinto. I mean, it came out late in 70, but it's a 71 model.
I didn't know the Monte Carlo's first year is 70. I thought it was an older model than that.
70. His first gen was 70, 71, 72. I had a 72, and that's one of those cars that I go, why did I sell that? That was stupid. But the people I sold it to, I mean, they were a young couple that really needed a car, and they were really happy to get it, and I made money on it, so yeah. Right thing at the right time. As much as I love performance, it was great for American cars to get reality check. Camaro, Corvette, Firebird, Challenger, and Cuda's got really good. I watched my uncle learn the hard way in Grandpa's garage in Pittsburgh that he just couldn't swap his 67 window cranks and door handles onto his new 68 door on his Mustang. Really? 67 racing. And 8 were so much the same, yeah.
Says if you drop the engine from high enough, any engine will fit.
Looking for a second.
Fit. I mean, you'll get it between the wheels. I don't know if it'll work. It could fit, but it might not work.
I remember my father yelling about Jimmy Carter and the 55-mile-an-hour speed limits. He was yelling at the wrong guy. I remember this well. It was prior. It was two presidents prior to him, but not much time. It was Nixon, and then of course Ford was in there for a short period of time, and then Carter. The thing with the 55 was it was supposed to be for 18 months. Okay, so everybody goes, yeah, we have fuel crisis, all this. They all went along with it. Then I guess it was Carter extended it. I don't know if it was Carter. Might have been the Congress. I mean, blame the president. The president probably signed it. It was extended for another 3 years. Well, that was like, what? It's supposed to be 18 months. I didn't like that. Now you're going to extend it to 36 months, 36 more months. And then they just extended it. And then sometime in the 90s, Congress got rid of it. And it was Clinton that signed it that got rid of it. And really, it was the 55-mile-an-hour speed limit was the federal speed limit was just a requirement for the states to have a 55-mile-an-hour speed limit so they wouldn't get their federal funds for their highways. So of course they all did it, and we had to put up with that crap for all those years. What was it, like 30 years? No, 20 years, something like that. It's supposed to be for 18 months, ended up being about 20 years. Run around at 65 mile an hour, getting tickets every day. Virgin tire construction technology, variable ratio, Bishop's Kirby, power steering, better brakes. Oh, that's something that happened in the 70s. Brakes got better on, not just, they got better before that, but in the 70s they got better on all the cars. Not just a few that option for it. Well, the guts are different. Yeah, the 60s, I was going to say that and then I didn't. The 67 and 8 were so much the same, but of course there were differences and the guts were different. So I can see why you would assume that they would fit when they didn't. Fero parts, 67 Mustang convertible out of Verona. Traded some Fero parts. Man, I remember 1975, my dad had a 74 Grand Prix 400 he bought new, going down the Interstate 80 in Illinois, coming home. Chicago, he was going like 110 miles an hour, got busted by Illinois State Police. Oh man, what'd they do to him? Jeez, that couldn't have been fun. The other car was a 50 Ford Custom flathead V8, 3 on a tree. I can just see that. Little brother Chris and me in the back seat, loving it. Speed. People thought the 55-mile-an-hour limit helped safety, but it was gearing and brakes and tires. It's just everything went toward fuel economy, and they really didn't know what they were doing yet, but they worked on it. What really got the fuel economy up was all the electronics, which was much later, but that's how they solved those problems, was by the electronics. The 55-mile-an-hour, like temporary taxes. Yep, like in California, I remember a 6% sales tax. We had a big earthquake and whatever it was. God, what year was that? 1980 something. It was in Santa Cruz, California. Knocked down a couple of bridges, big expensive earthquake. And they bumped the taxes up for 18 months, sales taxes to like 8.5%, something like that. Well, that was in the 80s. They still have that tax rate. So much for a temporary tax. My dad got the ticket yelling, "If you had Jimmy Carter." That couldn't have been a fun ticket. Well, he's lucky they didn't take him away in handcuffs. Pretty sure we had 60 and 65 limits back in the 80s somewhere in Massachusetts. You know what happened? On the interstates, they bumped them up to 65 on some interstates, but the whole 55 thing went away in in the 90s, because I remember Clinton was the one that signed that. Imagine going 55 in Nevada. Yeah, 55 miles an hour in Nevada was painful because prior to January 1st of 74, which is when 55 took place, there was no speed limit in Nevada. You just go out there and go as fast as you want, as long as you, like, you come into Las Vegas, and where the highway went through Las Vegas, they dropped the speed limit to 70. As you came out of Las Vegas, there was a sign that says end speed zone. And it was fast as you could go until you get to the California border. And there'd be 3 or 4 California Highway Patrol cars sitting there just waiting for people to come zipping across the line. So you had to be going 70 when you came into California. I missed a bunch of that because it scrolled by. Ford was really good at changing parts mid-year, and the parts don't interchange. Yeah, Ford is, yeah, like bell housings.
Oh man, were they all about changing the bell housings at Ford?
Ford is terrible about that. Why did they pick on Billy Beer? I tell you, it's not fair. Billy Carter was one of those characters. Oh man. Jimmy Carter was president. I think his brother got more press than he did. To be a fly in the windshield. Back in the 90s, we had a one-off emergency services levy imposed on all property to finance upgrades to services. It became annual. You still pay it now. Yeah, there are no temporary taxes.
Yep. If they can get away with it once, they're just gonna keep doing it.
3-speed manual, glass back window, and full wheel covers, AM radio 2, black. Oh, this is something I don't know what that's about. We sold it in 76. Remember Mr. Mustang? I don't know. My father still had the 74 Grand Prix 400 in 86, turned 16. He would not ever give the keys. Yeah. Northern Territory in Australia had no road limits, no limit roads. We have 85 limit. People do 100 most of the time. Really, because see, I know that north-south road in Texas that's 85. And I was wondering because they say it's strictly enforced, but I was wondering if it really is. Massachusetts, you'd be lucky to pass 55 cruising except on highways. Billy Beer. Billy Carter took a lead on a run. Yeah, Billy Carter was peeing outside while Jimmy Carter was talking. That was 89, Buff. Earthquake interrupted the world. I was watching that. Yeah, 89. It was 1989. There you go. Yeah, our GM family. So Ford was a 4-letter word in our house. It's a 4-letter word in everybody's house. Just not a bad 4-letter. Kim, you awake? 3 hours and some minutes.
I'm whooped, guys.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
It's time. Okay, so next week.
This has been fun, and I would like to be able to continue.
1975 next week. And unless we're gone, and then if we're gone, I'll put something in the
We'll let you know ahead of time.
I'll put it up in the.
We'll tell you either way.
I think it's called. They used to call it community page. I think depends on how you're signed in, whether it says community or posts. I'll put it up there, and maybe we'll do an impromptu little live, depending on where we are. Don't know, but it won't be the big one if we're not here. But I seem to think we'll probably be here. But I guess time will tell. So, time to say goodnight, all.
Thank you, everyone, for being here and for your comments. Thank you to our moderators. Thanks to everyone who sent pictures. I'm sorry we couldn't possibly have gotten through all of them. This was much more successful than we had even planned. Like, it was the whole stream, but it was definitely
I did not show all the pictures. I'm sorry because there were so many pictures. But yeah, I mean, send pictures.
Hope you enjoyed. And oh no, I'm like gonna crash, sugar crash. Hard, Kyle.
Oh, you know what? I'm trying to work your screen with my mouse. That's not going to work. Okay. Good night, all.
Thanks. We'll talk to you all soon. Have a